The Knicks blew a bad game to the Los Angeles Lakers. We're going to talk about it right now. Let's get popping. What's going on, people? Emmanuel, Justin, Chinky Eye, what's popping? Bad game, man. Bad loss. Real bad loss. Game we had, an 8-point lead at some point. Ended up losing by 20. It is disgusting. Hans Frutello. You're disgusted. I'm disgusted. We should all be disgusted. The Knicks should be disgusted. Jeff Hornacek should be disgusted. Every player on the team should be disgusted. It's a team that we could have beat. There were down men. Lonzo Ball out. Caldwell Pope out. And here we go. Blow it. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's hard to deal with every other day. You know what I'm saying? It is. The defense was terrible. We gave up 125 points, 124 points, 128 points, 127 points. 127 points to a team that doesn't have their offensive leader on the floor, Lonzo Ball. We got beat with athletes again. So we know that's something we need to look to add athletes to this team. When we play teams with athletes, we look bad, we play bad. Defensively, we have a hard time guarding teams with athletes. You know, we're slow. Starting lineup, front, Jack, slow. Kanter, slow. Thomas, slow. You know, we're playing games with guys that can, relatively speaking, of course, compared to us, maybe they can jump or whatever. But we're playing games with guys that can't jump. So when we play teams with guys with athletes like the Lakers have, we can't compete. It's hard to compete because they can jump over top of us. They're quicker to the ball. They're quicker in all aspects of the game. You know, and it's frustrating. It's tough and it's frustrating. You know, we started off that third quarter good. Started off that third quarter kind of hot. We're going to talk about D. Brown. We're going to talk about Jeff Hornacek in a little bit. And then all hell broke loose in the fourth quarter, right? All hell broke loose. I mean, we even ended with, we ended what? At halftime, we were down 4 points. So what were we down? 8 points at the end of 3 or something like that. You know, we gave up at least 30 points in each quarter. We scored over 30 points in one quarter, in the second quarter. That's it. You know, it's a problem. We got to look to play faster. We need to put some athletes on the floor. So whatever Scott Perry has to do to get some athletes, we need to get some athletes. As long as we stay within our concept and our philosophy, we need to get some athletes out there on the floor because we're playing with like a half a deck of cards, man. With a half a deck of cards. We got to get some athletes out there because it's hurting us in almost every aspect of the game, but especially offensively. You know what I mean? So let's just look at the tail of the game real quick. I mean, I know you guys seen the game. I seen the game. So we kind of know what the tail of the game is, but let's just take a look at it. We had a 6-point lead. We let the Lakers jump out, get a 22-point lead. A team without Lonzo Ball should not pull off a 22-point lead on us. I don't care. That's just my opinion. You know, they're playing without their offensive leader, but they score 127 points. That's ridiculous to me. Out-rebounded again. It's becoming a trend that teams are now. We were, at one point, one of the best rebounding teams in the league, one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the league. Now we're getting out-rebounded in and out-rebounded on the offensive glass. You see, the Lakers had 12 offensive rebounds. We had 7. And a team like the Lakers, that's a problem because they want to get out and run. So, if we're not taking care of the offensive boards, we're letting them get out and run. And then they're beating us on the defensive boards. Right? 27-26 by 1, but still they beat us. That allows them to get out and run. That's a problem. That's a problem because things that we were doing in the first half of the season, we're definitely not doing in the second half of the season. Our strengths are no longer our strengths. We had 32 assists because it was an offensive game, clearly, but we couldn't keep pace in the second half. 3 steals, 5 blocks, 17 turnovers. The Lakers had 6 turnovers. So not only were they pushing the ball and able to score, but they were taking care of the ball. They had 91 field goal attempts. We had 81. Again, not enough field goal attempts because we're not pushing the pace fast enough. 81 field goal attempts, in my opinion, is not enough. We should have 90, 95 attempts a game or more. We've got to pick up that pace. 25 3-point shots. We shot 48% from 3. Not bad. We only shot 10 free throws. 10 free throws, my people. That's not good. That means we're not aggressively going to the basket. And we shot 70%. You have the Lakers shot 21 free throws. They made 8 more free throws than us. Although they shot around the same in free throw percentage, they scored 8 more points because they shot more. They're more aggressive going to the basket. Part of that is because they have athletes. And I'm going to get to Jeff Hornacek in a minute. I know we got some questions about Hornacek. I'm going to get to him in a minute. Looking at the box score, Tim Hardaway, 17 points, 3 rebounds. Wasn't the Tim Hardaway, of course, we seen the other night. Definitely not. Porzingis, 17 points, 4 rebounds, 13 shot attempts. Could have definitely played a better game, but offensively he didn't play bad. 53% from the field, from the floor, 28 minutes. I know Hornacek is trying to preserve his minutes a little bit because Porzingis is tired, but if you're trying to make the playoffs, you might have to tell that man to fight through it in some games. Kanter, 12 points, 14 rebounds. He had 12 points, 14 rebounds, but Julius Randle was killing him. He was killing all our bigs down there. Porzingis too. We didn't have an answer for him. We didn't have an answer for Jordan Clarkson. The guy's too athletic for us. Jarrett Jack, 6 points, 10 assists, 3 turnovers. Courtney Lee, 16 points, 2 assists. Beasley has 17 points, 1 rebound. Got to get more rebounds than that. But he only played 13 minutes tonight. 17 points in 13 minutes. That's scoring right there. Kylo Quinn didn't give us much. McDermott. Everybody played tonight. Everybody played. So I have a question about that. And I think it's a valid question. Frank gave us 7 points, 3 assists. He played aggressive in the first half. Played well in the first half. Played aggressive in the first half. When he had Hornacek had Tre Burke and Frank in at the same time, I thought he should have kept them guys in together. I wanted to see it a little bit more. I want to see what they can do together. But he kept him in for a couple minutes and then took Frank out and put Ron Baker in, which obviously didn't do anything for us. So I don't understand the move or why. Ron Baker can play some good defense, but at that point in the game, I think we were down 10. I don't think Ron Baker is the guy that's going to bring us back. He hasn't really done that all season. He's had a couple of good games. Hasn't really done it all season. Let them guys go. More than not, Frank has been the guy who's hit big shots instead of Ron Baker. You know what I'm saying? But, that's what Hornacek. That's why we're going to talk about Hornacek. That's why we're going to talk about him a little bit. Billy Hernangomez got some minutes. Of course, Tre Burke got some minutes. He didn't get any minutes until the fourth quarter. Not understanding why he's not playing them earlier in the game. I don't, the kid, he played well in Utah, helped us win the game. Why not reward him? Give him some minutes earlier. You know what I'm saying? I see people saying Tre Burke needs to start. E. Moss, you say Tre Burke needs to start. Maybe that'll come. Maybe that'll happen one day. But I think right now he still needs to learn all the sets. That's probably, like I'm saying, he only got 7 minutes. That's probably the reason why he only got 7 minutes. Still getting used to the sets. I think we'll see more minutes as he gets used to the sets and those type of things. It takes a little bit of time. So, here we go, and here we are. We're about to probably see our worst record of the season after the next game, after Tuesday night. We play the Golden State Warriors. More than likely, it'll be a loss. Not that I don't have support for my team or always have optimism with my team, but, odds are it'll be a loss. So now you're looking at us being 21-27, 6 games below 500. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But this is a tough one to swallow for me. Tough one to swallow because it's a game that we always say it. We say it every night. Game that we could have won. No longer am I going to say that there's a game that we should have won. No longer can I say that this is a team that we should beat because we're not that team. We thought we were that team earlier in the season. We're not that team anymore. Or maybe we were never that team. Maybe we were never that. Supreme Ali said Hornacek's rotations alone should cost him his job. Just awful. You look, Hornacek has played. We had 13 players on the roster tonight. Hornacek played everybody. Right? So let's get to Hornacek a little bit. Let's talk about Hornacek. What is he doing? That's what I want to know. Is he playing for his job? Is Hornacek on the hot seat? Of course, fans are screaming to fire Hornacek. I wouldn't be surprised to hear it when we get back to the Garden. Wouldn't be surprised at all to hear that chant. Do you guys think that he is on the hot seat right now? Do you think he's playing for his job right now? Today, was he playing for his job against Golden State? Is he playing for his job? Do we think that Perry is looking to replace him? My opinion is that today, during the season, Hornacek's job is safe during the season. I honestly think he'll probably be back next year. I think that Scott Perry is a fair kind of guy. I think that he is probably going to try to get some guys in that play Hornacek style of ball. I mean, we're playing shorthanded without athletes. You know what I'm saying? Playing shorthanded without athletes, a lot of athletes. And I think Scott Perry probably knows that. And he may just give him a chance. He may try to bring in some players that Hornacek likes, the type of players that he likes, some athletes, of course, some guys that can get up and down the floor, and then see what he can do next year. That's what I think will likely happen. That doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen. Hornacek, honestly, and I'm not going to defend his rotations. I honestly do question his rotations, but when you're dealing with a lot of guys that are duplicates in positions, they're role players, but they're duplicate role players who have similar skill sets and can do the same things, but they can't do them on a level that is an excellent level. then it's hard. You're going to be scrambling to find a rotation that works. You know what I'm saying? Because each night you got to try to find the guy that's hot. So I think that's a problem. That's something that works against Hornacek. When you don't have guys that definitely is going to be hot every night or play well every night, now you got to scramble to find the guys that's going to do it. And if nobody does it for you, then, you just kind of assed out. So I think that's a dilemma that Hornacek has, and maybe part of the reason why we see so many different kind of rotations. Because, you have guys that are just, you can't look besides Hardaway and Porzingis, maybe Beasley, Kanter, right? You can't look at guys and just say that, well, you can't really look at, well, let me just say this. Actually, besides Porzingis and Hardaway, you can't really look at anyone and just say they're head and shoulders above everybody else on the team. You got two guys that are really, really legitimate guys right now. And then everybody else, and Kanter, I guess I can put Kanter in there, but his defense kind of holds him from being in that spot. I know early in the season he was really killing. Offensively, no one could stop him. He could rebound the ball, but his defense kind of holds him back. So when you got all these guys that kind of are on the same level, but are not your upper echelon guys that are really going to get you there, you're going to be scrambling for rotations. That's the hard part for him. I think that's the hard part for him. The team, we got some guys that are talented, but not on the level of some other teams that are, playoff teams and above. So I think that's a dilemma for Hornacek, and could be one of the reasons why we see so many crazy rotations that we don't like. I see someone say Beasley is above most of the team. Offensively, he is, but he still does make some mistakes. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. So I think he has a hard time every night. He's trying to find someone who is going to strike that lightning in the bottle. You know what I mean? But is he on the hot seat? I think that's the question. Is he on the hot seat? And I honestly don't know. Like I said, I think that Scott Perry is probably going to try to give him another year. That's what I think, because I think Scott Perry understands that he came in kind of, with Phil Jackson looking over him. Phil Jackson wanted him to run a certain style and play a certain style of game. And so now this is his first year really being able to control the team the way that he wants to control the team. And he doesn't really have the players that he wants to play the type of game that he wants to play. So I think Scott Perry is going to take that into consideration. I think he'll definitely take that into consideration. And when he's mulling over what's going to happen this summer, I think he'll take that into consideration. Then if he's able to get the guys. So I see someone says fire Monty Knicks, you say fire Rambis. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Not exactly Rambis, but some other things. So I think that he's going to give him a chance to get some guys, see if he can get some guys this summer, and then say, okay, here's some guys that you can play with. Now let's see what you can do, because you were kind of playing with some other person's guys. That's what I think is going to happen. So, we'll see. I expect to see Jeff Hornacek back next year, although there are rumors around the league that Scott Perry, Steve Mills are looking at and are interested in Mark Jackson. That's what I read. That's what I read. I think it was the New York Daily News that, some executives and other coaches around the league believe that Mark Jackson will end up in New York. We'll see. But I think they're going to try to give Hornacek a fair shake. Now, to get to what Monty Knicks said about uh, uh, old boy there, Kurt Rambis. What I think that Hornacek needs to do is work on his coaching staff. I think he needs to get staff that understands and knows how to play his style of play. That's what I think Hornacek needs to do. I think he needs to get guys on his staff that can play his system, because right now I think he's playing with guys. Kurt Rambis is a triangle guy. He doesn't play that kind of a system. And then you got, who you got? Howard Isley. Yeah, I know Howard Isley maybe was with Hornacek in Utah, maybe. I'm not sure. He might have been. I need to go back and look. But that doesn't mean that he plays the style of ball that Hornacek wants to play. And then, so, I think that Hornacek needs to reevaluate his coaching staff and look to get some coaching staff, get some a coaching staff that can play and can coach his style. You know what I'm saying? Because then, we all cry about not the rotations, but we cry about the rotations, but the adjustments. Hornacek right now is horrible, in my opinion, at making game time adjustments. I think part of that is due to his coaching staff, because when you're a head coach and you're on the sidelines coaching, it's hard for you to look at the game and think about the adjustments that you should make. It's your coaching staff that has to do that for you, because you're managing the game, right? You're talking to players. You're telling players to do this, to do that. You can't really see the game in that kind of a lens. When we're watching on television, we can see the game in that kind of a lens. We see the whole floor. We're looking at the distance. So we can see where everyone is moving on the floor and who's doing what. When you're sitting down courtside and you see the floor that way, your view is a lot more limited than you think. So it's hard to see those kind of adjustments that should take place. That's the reason why, and the game goes fast. It looks slow to us, but the game is going fast. So it's hard for a coach to actually look and be able to see those kind of adjustments. That's why you've got to have assistant coaches. You know what I'm saying? You got to have assistant coaches. If it were me, I'd have assistant coaches up in the locker room watching the game on television. And maybe they do, because you get a much better view of the game on television to see who's in the wrong spots and those type of things. You know what I'm saying? I'd have assistant coaches up there watching the game on television, breaking down the game as we're going, so that when I got into that halftime locker room, I said, "Coach, look at this. This is what's happening. This is what's going on the floor. Here's some adjustments that we suggest." And then you can look at those quickly in the locker room. That's me. But your assistants have to do that for you. It can't be the head coach. It's got to be the assistants, because you can't think of that many adjustments and look at the whole game that way, while you're also coaching and in the game. So I think that he needs to reevaluate his coaching staff and look at some guys that's gonna fit his style of play. Defensively, I seen somebody mention Jerry Sichting. I don't think that he's gonna be able to get Jerry Sichting, even though I know that's his guy. Right? That's his guy defensively. He probably won't be able to get him. I believe Jerry Sichting is in I think he's in Phoenix, right? I mean, Cleveland right now, if I'm correct, right? Oh, no. Jerry Sichting he's with us. So who is it? There's somebody that's in Cleveland that usually plays with Jeff Hornacek, I thought. Maybe I'm wrong. But he needs to get more of his guys in. So we do have Jerry Sichting. He needs to get more of his guys in. But, tablets. I see D-Gon's talking about tablets. Yeah, I believe guys can now have tablets on the sidelines, on the bench, so that they can look at the game and talk about adjustments and stuff like that. But you still need to have, I think, guys in the back looking at the game from a different angle, coaches, assistant coaches, making those kind of adjustments and suggesting it to the coach, because we are, I don't know, those adjustments and those things is not working for us. It's not working for us. So we got a lot of work to do. And, of course, we got the trade deadline coming up. Scott Perry and them guys, they're on the road with the team. And they're looking at what the team can do. They're looking at defense. They're looking at how we play offense, which we didn't play offense bad. 32 assists, that's good. They're for sure looking at the defensive end. They're looking at the energy. And if they base anything off of tonight, some guys in trouble, man. But I wonder, guys read the newspapers, without a doubt. They see the rumors. They look at Twitter. Is having Scott Perry and Steve Mills there, is that putting pressure on guys, do you think? Because I know there's some guys that want to stay here and be here. Guys like Courtney Lee, I think he wants to be here. Courtney Lee hasn't been with one team for more than like 2.5 seasons. I think he's comfortable here. I think he wants to be here. But does that put some pressure on him and make him feel like, man, we're being watched? Could be traded because we're being watched. I mean, what do you think about that? Do you think having them guys on the road is putting some pressure on the team? I mean, to me, pressure is all up here. It's not something that physically exists as far as sports is concerned, unless you have somebody really putting weight on you. That's pressure. I think pressure is all mental, but it's there. It can be there. You say you think there's something going on in the locker room. Big Heart, you say you think there's something in the locker room. I wonder. It could be. What could that be? The guys all seem, the team chemistry is off a little. They seem to get along. They seem to work together, which could be a bad thing. If everyone on the team, if the team is always, earlier in the season, I seen guys kind of get on each other a little bit. Tim Hardaway, Mike Beasley, I seen them guys get on each other a little bit. If a team is always together on everything and you never have that person that stands up and says, we're not doing this, we're not doing that, that hurts for you. That hurts you. You got to have somebody on your team. You got to have people on your team that's willing to call players out, and not just the coach. Got to be players on the team. I don't know if you say the chemistry is not the same. It's definitely not the same on the floor. Is it the same off the floor? We don't know. I haven't seen or heard about anything that, could be going on in the locker room, But if they're too close of friends, that can also be a problem. Because if they're too close, then maybe some people are scared and afraid to call each other out. Have you ever heard of a thing called groupthink? If you know what groupthink is, then groupthink is definitely dangerous, because that means the entire group agrees and thinks in one way without one person jumping in to say, no, this is the wrong way. And then the group, if it's the wrong way to think, then the whole group goes with it without anything being made to fix it. That's what can happen when everybody are friends and everyone wants to get along and nobody wants to hurt each other's feelings. Could it be? I don't know. We don't know. But maybe there is something going on with team chemistry. And maybe it has to do with the trade deadline approaching. There's some guys on the team that knows they're not going to be there. They're not in the long-term plans of the Knicks. They know that. Guys been around the league long enough where they're not stupid. That could go into play. There are some times there's some guys that probably want to prove that they belong on the team long term. That could go into the way the team is playing. You know, so there's a lot of things that go into it. But of course, this stretch started a while back, and it could be totally due to us being on the road. But we're playing some teams that we can beat. So there's something going on. Sean C., you say, thing is right now, I have questions. Are we hiding players on the bench from garnering trade interest or showcasing certain players? Way to push us over into it, Sean. Let's talk about it. Players showcase. I get the feeling right now that we're showcasing some players. Now, it could be that we're on the road, and as Jeff Hornacek said when referring to Frank, that Frank being 19, he's getting used to the schedule, being on the road. They've been on the road a while, and he's tired. Maybe Hornacek believes that he needs to play a lot of players to help preserve the energy for some of these guys. He played all 13 players tonight. Is he just playing them to try to preserve energy, or is he showcasing guys? I mean, let's take a look at the breakdown again of how many minutes guys got. Of course, Hardaway, Porzingis, Kanter, Jarrett Jack, Courtney Lee. They're always going to get the bulk of the minutes. Right? 29, 28, 29, 25, and 33 for those guys. That's the starting unit. Then you got Lance Thomas, 8 minutes. Frank Ntilikina, 17. Beasley, 13. Kylo Quinn, 13. McDermott 13. Ron Baker, 10. Billy Hernangomez, 8. And Tre Burke, 7. You wouldn't think that they're showcasing Tre Burke right now. They just signed him. Maybe they're showcasing Billy. We already know that there's interest in Billy Hernangomez. Ron Baker, he gets spot minutes here and there. He played 13 guys. Kylo Quinn, 13 minutes. Played 13 minutes, but he played 13 guys. I just wonder. Is he showcasing the guys? You know what I'm saying? I mean, the trade deadline is looming in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is. You got to put guys on the floor in order for other GMs, other coaches, whatever, what have you, to see them play. French Unicorn, you say Lee and O'Quinn are being showcased. Maybe. I mean, Lee's been playing a lot of minutes all season. He's playing 16 minutes a game. Could be showcased. O'Quinn, he's been playing a lot of minutes all season too. So I guess I'd be referring to guys like Billy Hernangomez, maybe Ron Baker. I mean, Ron Baker didn't understand the rotation. In the fourth quarter, you had Frank in and you had Tre Burke playing together. He takes out Frank and puts in Ron Baker. Ron Baker didn't do anything. I wanted to see more of what Tre Burke and Frank could do together. Justin Remedy, I agree. I like Courtney Lee. I want Courtney Lee to remain with the team. I think that he is even though he made some bad decisions with the way he reacted to the referee in Memphis, I think that overall he's a positive influence on the team. You know what I'm saying? And I think losing him, you lose some veteran leadership there. But there's always a chance, because if we get to the point where we're too far out of the playoffs, I think Hornacek is definitely going to look to play the young guys. They'll still promote winning. They'll still promote trying to get in the playoffs if they can. But if you get too far below 500, you kind of know you're not going to make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Remember, exactly. They said this is not about the playoffs. But if you have a chance to get in, I think you take that chance to get in. But if we get to that point, a guy like Courtney Lee could be on the trading block. If we're at that point by February 8th, a guy like Courtney Lee could be on the trading block, because he's playing well this season. He's playing really good this season. Courtney Lee is averaging 13 points, 3 rebounds, 2.7 assists, 45% from the field, 43% from three-point range, 96% from the foul line. That's good. You know what I'm saying? That's real. That's decent. That's a good role player that can fit. And Courtney Lee can probably fit in any kind of system. He's the kind of guy that a championship caliber team would look at and say he'd be a perfect role player for us. Siobhan Robinson, thank you very much for the super chat. I definitely appreciate you. And you say in the beginning of the season, if you didn't play D, you don't play. But now that's out the window. So you're referring to accountability. And that is a question that we've been having about Hornacek right now. Is he still holding the team accountable at the same level that he was earlier in the season? And I don't think so. Maybe he had a longer rope earlier in the season, but he's definitely not holding the guys accountable at the same level. Which he should be, though, because if you continue to hold guys accountable like that at the same level he was earlier in the season, then you're going to keep respecting the guys. You're going to keep the team. You're going to keep guys there. You're going to keep guys kind of nervous. Big heart. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you. You say C. Lee, Courtney Lee, and Tim Hardaway Jr. have the biggest heart. You know what? They do have a lot of heart. And there's a lot of times when Courtney Lee, we were talking about Courtney Lee, when Courtney Lee has kind of spurred us on with, his heart and not wanting to give up. Courtney Lee, Tim Hardaway Jr., those guys really have playoffs in sight, and they want to get there. Courtney Lee, believe it or not, maybe some of you guys remember, he has NBA Finals experience. He went to the finals with Orlando. I think he was a rookie, with Shaq and them guys. And he was a starter as well at that time. And, he hasn't really, since then, he's been kind of bounced around, traded from team to team. And, he wants to get back, I'm sure. You get a taste of it, man, you want to be there. You get a taste of it, you want to be there. But Supreme Ali said, I think Courtney Lee is the one vet you keep around as our guys are young and grow. I agree with you. I think so. I think he's the kind of guy you keep around. I'm just afraid that he's also a guy that other teams would covet because, he plays defense. He can shoot, obviously. He's a smart guy. He has good character. He's not going to get the team in trouble, not going to get in trouble. He's not going to embarrass the organization, and he's going to produce. So I think he's one of those guys that other teams might covet, which scares me about him because it's possible that he could be included in trades because he's a guy that other teams would want. And his contract isn't crazy. His contract, let's see exactly what he makes. Let's see. Courtney Lee's contract. Courtney Lee makes 11.7 this year, 12.2 next year, 12.7 the following year. So he's on a decent contract for a guy that's giving you 14 points a game, shoots 43% from three, 96% from the free throw line. Can play defense. Is a solid player that is consistent. So that's a pretty decent contract. And other guys, some teams may covet him. They may covet him. Even though he's 32 years old, they may covet him. But I would like to keep Courtney Lee around. But maybe he is being showcased. Other guys, of course, we know Billy is probably being showcased. And, there's been rumors around, the league that teams are really interested in Billy Hernangomez. They haven't really offered up much, probably because he hasn't been playing. Nah, Mr. T. I think Courtney Lee is like 32. I think he's 32 years old. He has a couple. He has a couple more good years in him. But I think the Knicks haven't really received anything that they believe is. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, French Unicorn with Howard, not Shaq. I'm tripping. Yeah, with Howard. But the Knicks haven't really received any kind of good offers for Billy Hernangomez. So, you know, I'm sure they're fielding calls, and I know for Kylo Quinn, there are a few teams interested. I definitely believe Kylo Quinn is going to be going at the trade deadline, though. Definitely, because he's going to opt out. They're going to find a way to get something for him. Something for him. Chris Kasner, you said, should we trade for Jordan Clarkson? I don't know. Jordan Clarkson, he definitely went to work today, though. I'll tell you that. But how many guys are we going to have at that position? If you trade for Jordan Clarkson, you got to clean up a glut. We got Tim Hardaway Jr. who's playing small forward for us. You got Courtney Lee. You got Jordan. You got Damian Dotson, who of course is playing in the G League right now. Clarkson is kind of a tweener. He's 6'3", but he can play like he's 6'7", because he can get up in the air. He definitely killed us today, without a doubt. You know what I'm saying? He was cooking tonight. He was definitely cooking tonight. So let's see. Let's see what Clarkson did against us. Jordan Clarkson, 29 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds. Jordan Clarkson went to work. I'm not exactly sure what his contract is right now, or if he's even on a trading block. Let's see. Jordan Clarkson, I mean, he's got about the same kind of contract as Courtney Lee right now. So, same kind of contract as Courtney Lee. If you could, Simeon, you say Jordan Clarkson is 6'5", 6'4", he's 6'4", I'm not even sure if the Lakers are looking to move Jordan Clarkson. You know what I'm saying? Jordan Clarkson, he's a six-man of the year candidate probably if he continues to come off the bench. He's a guy that they can depend on. He probably wants to have a chance to be a starter. He's been a starter before, but I'm sure he wants a chance to be a starter in the league. Again, he's not a point guard. The Lakers tried playing him at the point guard spot, but he's not a point guard. He's an off guard. So we bring him here. What does he fit? If you were to trade him, then you'd probably have to get rid of Lee, because you're not going to get rid of Hardaway. You just gave him a big contract. He's young. You're not getting rid of Hardaway. You'd have to get rid of Lee in order for there to be space for him to play. And you're not going to swap him straight up, because the Lakers are going to say, why would we swap Courtney Lee for Jordan Clarkson when they make the same amount of money and Jordan Clarkson is younger, unless we're throwing in something to sweeten the pot. Jordan Clarkson, if you don't have Lee here, Jordan Clarkson fits nicely with us. I would say that. He looks good. He can play the two. He can play longer than his height says he is. He's 6'4", but he can play longer than that because of his jumping ability. Stanley Johnson. We keep hearing about Stanley Johnson, and it's a possibility. It's definitely a possibility. I'm not sure how much the Knicks have interest, because he's a defender. And he's a guy that can get after it defensively, but offensively is the concern for me. And if he fits inside, and if he fits with what Jeff Hornacek would want to do offensively, But you need those bruisers, you need those bangers. He's Lance Thomas, the younger version, basically, probably a little bit more athletic. You know what I mean? Mighty Knicks, appreciate you, man. Shout out to Emmanuel C. Sincere, Ishmael Hernandez, and the French Unicorn. Mighty Knicks gives y'all a shout out. Appreciate the super chat, bro. Appreciate you. Jamal Bryan said, Frank has no offense right now, but offense can be learned. He'll be just fine. Exactly, Jamel. Thank you. Because I've seen some other guys saying some stuff about Frank earlier. You know what I'm saying? About, whatever. And I'm ignoring guys that just blatantly want to say Frank Ntilikina is trash and garbage because I'm ignoring that, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just ignoring that. Because we got to be patient with the brother, man. He's 19 years old. We got to give him time to grow. You know what I'm saying? Got to give him time to grow. But as far as Jordan Clarkson, I don't think he'd be easy to get. But I'm gonna tell you, the Knicks, I believe, are definitely going to be active at the trade deadline. We have too much of a glut in places. We don't have a glut at point guard. I don't think that we trade a point guard though. I think that we'll keep all three. Eventually, Jack is gonna lose his minutes. That's my opinion. Because we're falling farther and farther out of the playoff race. And if you're falling that far out of the playoff race, what's going to be the need to play Jared Jack? You know what I mean? I don't know what the need is going to be to play Jared Jack. You might as well go with Frank and Tre Burke. Let the young guys rock with it. If you're in the playoff race, we inch back in it. Somehow we climb back in it. Right now we're about 3 games out. Then you're probably going to need Jared Jack for some minutes somewhere along the line. You know what I mean? Because of this right here. But so I think at the point guard position there's probably not any moves. Something interesting though. Ian Begley. I'm gonna jump over to Ian Begley for a minute. Okay? Because Ian Begley says, and I'm sure you guys seen it somewhere along the line, Ian Begley says that the Charlotte Hornets want to engage us. Right? Now, here's my question. The Hornets want to engage us to trade for Kemba Walker. And they want to, let me see if I can find it for you. I'm going to pull it down. It's in here somewhere. But anyway, I'm going to keep on talking while I'm looking for it. But the Charlotte Hornets want to engage the Knicks to trade for Kemba Walker. And they would want to include, pull this on over here while I'm doing this, while I'm looking for it. And then they would want to include they would want us to take on a contract. Okay? And that's, to me, that's not smart. They would want us to take on a guy like Batum or whatever who has a crazy contract, and we'll go back and we'll look at their contracts. All right? Ian Begley, of course, this is what he says. He says, I think Kemba Walker would be a fantastic addition for the Knicks and many other teams, but Charlotte appears eager to shed an additional contract in a Walker deal, per Adrian Wojnarowski. I'd be wary of taking back an additional long-term contract in any trade from the New York Knicks. Now, I agree and I disagree with him. I agree that Kemba Walker would be a fantastic addition, but I disagree that the Knicks should do it. Well, I'm not sure if he's actually saying the Knicks should do it. I don't think the Knicks should do it because I do not believe that he fits in our timeline. We talked about that in the last showcase. You know what I'm saying? I believe Kemba Walker is a really good player. I like everything that he does. He plays the kind of play that Jeff Hornacek wants to play. But he's 27, about to be 28 years old. He's definitely going to want to win. We're not in position to make that happen. He makes $12 million this year, $12 million next year. When his contract is up next year, he's going to want money. He's going to want money, and we're not going to be able to provide that. Well, we can, but we're going to cripple ourselves. And to me, it doesn't make if we say that we have a philosophy and a plan, he probably doesn't fit in our plans right now. And if you do this trade, I believe you go back to the Isaiah Thomas philosophy. I think you go back to those days. I think you take us backwards to those type of days and putting us with a player who is an all-star player who's going to need a big contract, and then we don't have money to put players around them, and then maybe we meddle in the middle, fifth or sixth seeds for a while and really don't do anything. So that's why I don't think it's the right time to do it. If we were already a team that was close to being in contention and he's the kind of guy that will put us over the top, then yeah, but we're not there. So I don't think we're ready for that. That's my opinion. But the Charlotte Hornets would want to engage us. Why would they want to engage us? Let's think about this for a minute. They would want to engage us, in my opinion, because we're in the position that they want to be in. Right? The Hornets, right now, let's take a look at their record. Right now, the Charlotte Hornets are 18-26. They're 18-26, but let's take a look at their salary cap. Okay? $116 million. You got Dwight Howard makes $23 million this year, $23 million next year. You can guarantee you that they're not going to re-sign Dwight Howard next year. And Dwight Howard's not going to get that kind of contract when he is a free agent. I can guarantee it. Nicolas Batum, $22 million this year, $24 million in 2018-19. $25 million in 2019-20. And then there's a player option in 2021, which you can be sure he's going to take for $27 million. Okay, that's a ridiculous contract, and he's not putting out that kind of production. Marvin Williams, $13 million this year, $14 million next year, $14 million in 2020. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, 13, 13, and 13. Cody Zeller, 12, 13, 14, and 15 in 2020, 2021. All right, these guys got a lot of bad. They got some bad contracts in Charlotte. You know, Michael Jordan was the GOAT when it came to playing basketball. He's far from the GOAT when it comes to building a basketball team, man. You know, him and Phil. You know, I don't know. All right, so then you got some small contracts down here, but they got a lot of big contracts. And they want to get rid of these contracts, so they want some teams to take these guys. I don't know who they're gonna find to take Nicolas Batum. I don't know. They're gonna have to give up some draft picks if they want some teams to take Nicolas Batum for sure, because that's a major. I mean, that is a superstar's contract. So right now, the Charlotte Hornets, they want to be where we are. Okay? We have our biggest contract right now. Their biggest contract is $27 million. Then you got, $23 million. Those are, megastar contracts right now for guys who do not play megastar level. And then if you look at us, our team payroll is 104. Our biggest contract is, for this year, our biggest contract is Kanter. Okay? So they want to be where we are. They want to have shorter contracts, smaller contracts, draft picks, and young players to build off of. So what do they want to try to do? They probably want to try to trade Kemba Walker to us and get Frank Ntilikina and a draft pick. Right? That's what they want to do. I can guarantee it. and then try to get us to take one of these long contracts. I wouldn't even be surprised if they said, we'll take Joakim Noah if you'll take one of our other long contracts. Because I wouldn't be surprised if they said Kemba Walker and Nicolas Batum, and we'll take Joakim Noah and somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Because Joakim Noah's contract is shorter than Nicolas Batum's, and it's less money than Nicolas Batum's. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be surprised if they did, if that's something that they wanted to do. Talking about the Charlotte Hornets. You know, so they want to swap positions with us, basically. Right? And now everyone says, yeah, trade Frank for Kemba. Trade Frank for Kemba. But the Hornets want Frank. They want to get rid of Kemba. Why do they want Frank? Because they know he's young. He can play defense. He's a prototype point guard of the future. Prototype, I'm saying. Prototype in his style of play and his length, those type of things. A guy that possibly one day can even be 6'7" and still play that point guard spot. He's a prototype point guard of the future. And they know he has the potential to do some really, really, really good things in his league. That's the reason why they would want to trade for him. And we have fans that want to trade Frank for Kemba. Short-term thinking. Short-term thinking, man. Yo, we got to think down the line. We got to think long-term, not just right now. Not just Kemba Walker can help us get into the playoffs this year. I want to make the playoffs, but I don't want to mortgage our future to get into the playoffs. I think we fight for the playoffs with who we have, but you don't mortgage your future to get into the playoffs this year. That's not the way you do it. Charlotte wants to switch places with us, and Scott Perry, be careful. Be careful. Now, if you can swing something where you don't get rid of Frank and you bring in Kemba Walker, you keep Frank Ntilikina, you bring in Kemba Walker, you can swing something, I'm with it. I'm with that. I do it. You know what I'm saying? If you can find a way to swing something like that. But Charlotte's not going out like that. Charlotte, they're gonna want Frank. And in my opinion, you don't do it. You don't do it. You don't do it. You know. And I know there's gonna be people that agree with me, and they're gonna say, "Oh, you know, you're all in on Frank. He hasn't proved anything." That's not even the point. The point is we got to get this guy. You got to get this guy to his third, fourth year to prove he's either going to be good or not good. You know what I'm saying? And not bring in a short-term solution, in my opinion, like Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker is already going to be 28 years old. You're not setting yourself up for the next 10 years with Kemba Walker. You know, you're setting yourself up for maybe 3 or 4 years, and you're capping yourself in the salary cap. If Frank doesn't turn out to be what we think he could be, you know what I'm saying, then you have room to make some maneuvers. There'll be other young guys coming up that you can make some maneuvers with. You know what I'm saying? But you don't go for it now. You don't go for the gusto right now. You know what I'm saying? It's KP's first year being the man. Give him some time to grow into the position. As much as I know I've gotten on him about a few things here and there, I like KP. I want him to do well, but I'm gonna point out if he's not doing what I think he should do. You know what I'm saying? But he's 22. He's got to develop. You got to give him time to grow. Kemba Walker doesn't want to wait. He wants to win. He's going to want to win. Trust it. He's going to want to win. You know what I'm saying? That means you got to try to fill out the team with veterans now to appease Kemba Walker, because if you trade Frank and a first-round pick or whatever to bring in Kemba Walker, like we talked about before, and he wants a big contract, you got to give it to him because you traded your future for him. You got to give it to him. And now you got to try to win. You know what I'm saying? You don't do that. You don't do that. That's not what you do. That's not how you go about it. You know what I mean? And then you look at, like I said, the Hornets want to trade with the Knicks for a reason, because there's a player that they probably covet. They want to switch positions with us when you're talking about where we are as far as salary cap and the position we're in as far as growing for the future. That's where they want to be. This is where we want to stay. You know what I'm saying? This is where we want to stay. Continue to try to grow with the young guys. If we make the playoffs, good. If we don't, okay. Then we figure out what we got to do to move on. You know what I'm saying? Figure out what we got to do to move on. So, I trust in Scott Perry, though. I really do. I trust him, and I think that he's going to make the right decisions. I think he's going to make the right decisions, and do the right things to move us forward. So I'm trusting in my man Scott Perry. Okay. Guys, I see you guys looking and saying, we'll be ninth, we'll be ninth seed, 10th seed, and I know your thought process, right? Your thought process is, if we end up being in that ninth, 10th seed, we're in a position where we don't get a good draft pick, and we also don't make the playoffs. But there's obviously a lot of good players that come out of that. When you're talking about drafting that 13th, 14th spot, there's some good players that come out. It comes down to scouting and drafting, scouting and those type of things. You know what I'm saying? If we could draft well, which, we haven't been too bad over the past few years. If we can draft well, we'll be okay. That doesn't, I really do think that we put too much stake in the players that haven't proven themselves yet. That's my let me back up. The draft is super valuable because you have the ability to get young players that can create a lot of value for you in the future. Right? You get young players that can become very productive and have low contracts. So that's value. So, of course, yes. And you get athletes, so on. So, yes, the draft is mega valuable. You know what I'm saying? It's mega valuable. I think people put too much stock in trying to get the best player in the draft possible by tanking their season and those type of things. I think that we put too much value in that. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't, of course, there's going to be players at the top of the draft that are mega talented. We know that. You know what I'm saying? But if you look at each team in the NBA, they're not all made up of top draft picks. Your championship level teams all don't always have the number one draft pick. Right now the Warriors, they have one because they signed Kevin Durant in free agency, but they didn't draft Kevin Durant. Everyone else, they wasn't the number one draft pick. They drafted well, they traded well, and they still draft well, right? And develop well. That's what it takes to me. That's what it takes. Yeah, I just don't like the whole premise and concept behind losing to win. I don't think that works. People will point to Philadelphia and say, well, look at Philadelphia. They have all this potential. That's cool. But they've tanked for years and years and years and years, and they're a possible 8th seed. To me, you don't tank for years and years and years and years to be a possible 8th seed. So I'm not too worried that if we'll be a 13th seed or have the 13th pick or 14th pick, because there's always things that you can do to move up in the draft if it's possible. There's always things you can do to make moves to bring in other players. There's always things you can do. So I think you play and you try to win, and then you take you got to have good management. You try to win. Wherever you fall in the draft, you look at your position and you say, okay, now what are we going to do from here? That's what I think. That's where I am. BN, you say you disagree. Explain it to me, bro. Explain it to me. I'm going to open up the lines. BN, why don't you call in? Explain it better that way. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I understand the premise of tanking. Trust me, I do. I understand the premise of tanking. But I don't think it's the way. I don't think it's the way. I mean, you look at the Los Angeles Clippers a long time ago, right? They were the worst team in the league. And they always had a high draft pick because they sucked. And they never became good. Why was that? You remember the Los Angeles Clippers? You know what I'm saying? You remember the Los Angeles Clippers? What did they ever do? With all the draft picks that they had, what did they ever do? Nothing. Now, BN, I'm not saying win to get the 9th seed. I'm saying you go out there and you put your best foot forward, right? Because it's about creating habits and developing that culture. And that starts at management level and comes down to the players. You know what I'm saying? And if your management is sending a message to the players that we are going to lose so that we can replace you. That's what we're going to do. We're going to lose so we can replace you. 1 minute, SK. 1 minute, all right? SK, you on the line? Hold on for a minute, group. SK, can you hear me? Maybe we need you to call back. If your management is sending the message to the players that we're trying to lose so that we can replace you with someone better, what do you think the players are going to do? You know what I'm saying? Okay, got you, BN. What do you think the players are going to do? The players, they're not going to prepare correctly, right? They're going to prepare like they're ready to lose.
I'm just connected with you.
Okay. SK, you on the line?
Yeah, bro, I just connected with you. What's Gucci? Can you hear me?
My man SK, I can't hear you, bro. Hold on for 1 second. I might be having a few technical difficulties here. I want to make sure I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. Let me check on my side. Make sure it's not me.
SK, you on the line?
Yo, can you hear me, bro? You can't hear me? I'm no good.
Okay, hold on for 1 second, man. I'm trying to make sure I got my, I think my headphones ain't working for a minute. Let me make sure I get things right.
All right, bro.
Well, anyway, I can hear you out these other speakers here. Go ahead.
What's shaking, bro? How you doing?
I'm doing good, bro.
Yo, shout out to the Knicks fan. What up, everybody?
All right.
I'm seeing all these crazy trade, Frank. I'm like, trade Frank? Like, the dude 19, his upside amazing. He's gonna be way better than Frank. Way better than Kemba is right now when Frank gets to that point. All he needs is good coaching. You know what I mean? Can you hear me?
Yep, I'm here.
I was saying, like, I feel like we got that New York itch, you know, that little paranoia of, damn, if it ain't going right now, it's never gonna go right. And we just need to calm down, take it easy, you know. We decided to give Porzingis them years. Let's give Frank them years, you know. I feel like, personally, we closer to a chip than anybody think. I mean, if we look at the East right now, we talking about the 1, the 2, and the 3. Cleveland in the 3rd. I'm not sure if they're gonna stay there, but if they do happen to stay there, that means Toronto in the 2nd. And Toronto is garbage. Like, I understand they got a good team. They're garbage. Like, Cleveland's gonna destroy them if they play them. We can kind of get in the 7th spot if we make a couple trades. For me, I remember the last time we were talking about Evans. I went back and revisited it, and I realized we can get Gasol for Noah, Billy, Lance, maybe a first or second round pick. I don't know if we want to do that, but we can get Gasol and Evans. And then you're talking about a 3-headed monster. You're talking about KP, Gasol, which is at about 30-something with Enes. You're talking about 3 big men in the East who don't really have any big men. Like, we can make a couple moves, you know. We looking at it like, oh, we want the superstar. Nah, be easy. We bring over Marc Gasol. We get rid of Noah. That's a plus. We give him Billy because Billy, he's a young boy, but you put him with Noah, he's gonna start to learn. You know what I mean? He's gonna get better. Besides the fact Grizzlies still will have Connolly, they could get about 3 draft picks. You know what I mean? You could trade Connolly for something in the draft pick. I heard something about them trading with Denver. My point is, it's a great trade for both the Knicks and the Grizzlies. And if the Knicks take this trade with a Marc Gasol, with a KP, with a let's say Beasley or Evans or THJ or Frank, Tre Burke, you're talking about so many scorers, so many dynamic ball control players. When even at your center, he knows how to pass the ball. Your power forward, and then you got a center who can bang it in there with the big guys. I mean, I just feel like we're overlooking the simple things. You know what I mean? There's a lot we could do in this time, and I feel like we should just calm down. Let's survey the field for really players who's gonna fit what we need to do, especially in this weak East. And just go it that way. Don't sell a team yet. You know.
I feel you, definitely. Yeah, I don't think that. I don't think we look. What was his name? Perry would be looking to sell the whole team. I think if we get to February 8th and we play the Warriors Tuesday. The chances are we're probably going to be 6 games below 500. So if we get to that February 8th line, close to that line, and we're 10 games below 500, I think they're going to be looking to say, okay, let's just develop the young guys for the rest of the year.
Yeah, true.
I don't believe that that's a complete tank, though, in my opinion.
Me neither. I don't.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that the moves that they'll be looking to do is bring in players that can contribute, but also contribute, you know what I'm saying, but also set you up for the future. So not taking on long contracts, making sure, when they're looking at what they're going to do, they'll be looking to see how, they'll be looking in the future, 3 years down the line. 2020, how does it impact 2020? I think they even want to be players in 2019 as well. They'll be looking to see how it impacts that free agency.
I mean,
and so they'll try to bring in young guys that can play, that can help us now, but also their contracts don't kill us in the future. That's where I think they look, and then they'll try to make a run with that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way you should do it. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be making all those explosive moves. You should make a couple smart moves. When people talk about build through the draft, they're not necessarily talking about the struggles or the scouting team that you got behind you to just Golden State picks Draymond Green 2nd round. Look at that. I think it was the Sacramento pick, Isaiah Thomas 60th. Look at that. I mean, scouting is really hit or miss, to be honest, and you can't just go through the draft. So you got a bevy of talent in the NBA that's being underutilized.
Right.
Grizzlies is not going to make the playoffs. We already know this. You know what I mean? And this is Memphis. They can't rebuild. You know what I mean? Like, they can't rebuild. This is their best chance to get a rebuild, where in a postseason when you can get Marvin Bagley, I guess, and a couple other guys in the draft. Like, come on, son. I don't see why they don't do it. You know what I mean? I would love to. I'm gonna let you go after this. I would love to see what you think about it and how you think it would impact the team. What you think we could do with that? Because, I said,
run it back, run the whole little scenario.
All right, so we can trade again. We can trade Joakim Noah, Willie Hernan Gomez, and Lance Thomas. And maybe, I'm not sure if we would want to do this, but to sweeten the pot, we can trade maybe the 1st or 2nd round pick. We can get a Gasol over here. We can get a Evans over here. Then we can have the pick of a litter of a Enes. That's a big guy. Enes the third. I'm not sure if they're traded. Maybe we could get a power forward, in case what's her name leaves to stand back of KP, and Brandon Wright. It's some equitable talent we can pull from over there, to just seal up the cracks that we got. I mean, our shooting guard lineup is we good right there,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, so we go with the shooting guard, we go with the point guard, regardless of what everybody think. Jared Jack, he's an old, you know how it is. Yeah. But that wisdom is definitely gonna rub off on Frank. Tre Burke, he's a hyperactive point guard. So you're looking at 3 guys. You got an old guy, a young guy who's learning, and you got a hyperactive point guard. I just feel like with that lineup, we can do damage, bro.
Well, let me. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna jump over to The time is up. I'm gonna let you go on, but I'm gonna jump over to salary cap stuff and look at the salary cap and just take a look at it in a minute. You know what I'm saying? Because I think everything is gonna depend on where does it take us in the future. You gotta look at guys' age and all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
salary cap is definitely a big thing. But hey, SK, thank you for the call, bro.
Thank you.
All right, man.
Peace.
I see a lot of guys look like. I see a lot of people in the chat look like maybe they, kind of in support of that a little bit. Tell me what you think about it. He said a lot there. So let's take a look at the Memphis Grizzlies salary cap and things like that. See where they're going. I seen a couple people say it sounds like a plan. I mean everything always sounds like a plan when we're talking on our end. Of course, we got to look at what other teams want to do. All right, so you talk about Marc Gasol. Marc Gasol's contract is hefty for sure. You know what I'm saying? It's hefty for sure. But it does expire in 2019, 2020, so it kind of fits that timeline. He has a player option for that year. Tyreke Evans, he's making $3 million. He can, his contract can be done this year. Mike Conley, he's got a serious contract. Definitely has a serious contract. He's the kind of guard that I would like the Knicks to have, but I'm not trying to pay that contract for him, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I'm not ready for that. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. 28, 30, 32, 34, all the way up, 34 million, all the way up to 2020, 2021. And that's a straight contract. There's no kind of team options or nothing like that. But he didn't mention Conley. He was talking about Marc Gasol. Tyreke Evans is on a small contract. And then so if you do that, if you're giving up a Marc Gasol, I mean, if you're gonna bring in a Marc Gasol, then obviously you've got to include Noah. You know what I'm saying? Because Noah's contract is so big, and his contract expires when? I forgot. Noah's contract expires, I believe, same year, 2019, 2020. That means we're bringing in some money, right? We'll be taking in $5 or $6 million, but you're taking in $5 or $6 million for a player that will maybe produce a little bit more. But then you got to find something to do with Kanter. That would take a lot of maneuvering. And then, are you looking at Gasol to be in your long-term plans as well? You know what I mean? You got to take that into consideration. I think everything we look at, we got to look at long-term plans. Are these going to be players that's going to be with us for the next 5 to 10 years? When you look at Gasol, now, is that a team putting those players on the floor that could win today? Yes, it is. I agree with you there. I think everything is just looking at, I think everything from today is looking at what happens in the future. Because Gasol is 32 years old right now. You know what I'm saying? So, I think we got to look at that with everything. All right? We got Michael Hospitals calling in, trying to get him on the line. Call back, Michael. Call back in for me, bro, because it didn't connect. But make sure you call back in. All right? So I think everything we do, we got to look at how it affects us in the future, what our salary cap is going to look like. Because like I said, I think the Knicks even want to be players in 2019, 2020. I'm sorry, 2018, 2019. So if you're looking at the Knicks in 2018, 2019, let me try to get to that point. Let me find the Knicks in here. Even in 2018, 2019, we got a little bit of cash that year, a little bit of money, not a whole lot of money, because all these guys right here is on the books until 2019, 2020. But you're talking about, Ron Baker is going to take his option that year. Well, that summer, Ron Baker will be gone. You got $4 million, $8 million, $12 million. You got a little bit of money. I'm gonna say, looking at these guys, 2, 4, 6. You got $18 to $20 million in 2019, in 2018, 2019. So I'm sure the Knicks will be looking to be players in 2019 as well. So I think everything is going to be based on that. In 2019, they'll be looking to be players, and then definitely in 2020, they're going to be looking to be players. But that's definitely SK. That's definitely a lineup that could win now. My only concern about it is Marc Gasol, because his contract is so big and it is long. You know what I'm saying? It's a long contract. And would the Knicks be looking at him as a long-term player, a player that's going to be there for a while? That would be my only question about that move right there. My only question about that move. Oh, hold up, gave the wrong one. S Russell _35. Actually gave you 34. My bad. Right. Or you could try this one too. I don't know. Somehow, some way, my Skype answers to two of them. But Michael, man, you try to call back in if you can, bro. All right. So that's where I see that. You know what I'm saying? That's where I see that. All right, my man Michael. Michael, you there? What's up, bro? How you feeling? Oh, okay, don't get in trouble now. All right. Okay, we don't need nobody getting in trouble, man. We already got a lot of people off of work, or possibly off of work, because of the shutdown. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want nobody to be off of work voluntarily. You feel me?
I'm here. I was watching the game earlier, man. I'm over this coach, man.
Yeah,
I'm over the coach, man.
over the coach.
And I was one of his biggest supporters, but I'm over him.
Okay.
He has this bad habit of sticking to his timely rotation so bad that even when you have a lineup that's working for us, he's going to pull him.
Yeah, and
he's going to pull him.
Right.
It's at that point where I'm just sick and tired of him. Like, tonight, KP started to catch fire a little bit. He pulled him. Frank didn't do too much, but at the same time, he was doing better than what Jack was giving us. You pulled him.
Yeah, Frank was doing that.
That
Frank
Kanter and O'Quinn, Hernan Gomez and O'Quinn on the court together. That don't make too much sense to me.
Frank was having in the first half. He was having a decent game.
Yeah.
You're gonna pull players when they start to get tired, of course. But I also think that in the fourth
Frank
quarter,
is 19. He's not allowed tired yet.
Right. But I also think in that fourth quarter, when it was Frank and it was Tre Burke, I think he needed to let them work that out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He needed to go ahead and let them play a little bit. And see what they could do together. If you give them 1 minute on the floor, that's not gonna. They're not gonna learn that way. We're not gonna see how they develop that way. I think you got to give them a little bit more time than that.
He just confuses me with his lineups, man. It's like, and then he goes on the record and says, "We let them know from the beginning of the season, this is a rebuilding year, this is development year." But you're playing Jack, who's 84 years old.
Right.
Like, come on, man. At this point, it's like, if you're going to, if when you talk to the media, you're telling them pump the brakes on all that playoff talk or whatever, like, why is it that you're treating the team like a playoff team if that's not your focus?
Right.
If you're developing, give the 19-year-old the keys to the team. Tell him, listen, go out there, put him in the fire. Right. I mean, we drafted him to the fire, so let him play in it.
Right.
And then we have the most impatient fan base in the world. Like, I'm reading the comments when I did get a chance. I can't stay on too long, as you can see, I'm working. But everybody trade for Kemba. Kemba's 28, KP's 22, Hardaway's 25. When we're ready to compete, Kemba's probably going to be 31.
Right.
Long gone to another team. Like, so, and they're talking, if you read what Begley and all of them are saying, is the Hornets want to engage New York in conversation for Kemba Walker. We don't want to engage them. They want to engage us. Why? Because we're the sucker team. We're the team they know that, hey, they're going to mortgage their whole future on one player. That's what we are. We're the sucker team. We did it with Stoudemire. Well, we brought him as a free agent, but we gave him all the money in the world. We couldn't get nobody else. We brought Melo. We gave away 40 people to get Melo.
Right.
You know, we did a smart move in moving one guy and a pick. We moved one guy and we got 2 players and a second-round pick. Scott Perry knows what he's doing. It looks like it. Let him do his job. But I don't think Hornacek is the man going forward. I don't think he can develop a young team.
And you know, I kind of agree with you. I think that I don't know if he is the guy to develop a young team. You know what I'm saying? I think he's the kind of guy that he would do better with a team that's already established.
When he went to Phoenix, they already had a squad. You know they just needed a play style.
I just think from what I see of Scott Perry, I just think he's the kind of guy that's going to say, let me give you a chance with your guys. That doesn't mean that I think that Hornacek is the guy. That's just what I think that Scott Perry might do. You know what I'm saying? Because he seems to be that kind of an upstanding guy that says, you know, I'm going to give you a chance. But
that makes sense.
I don't know if Hornacek is the guy either. Earlier in the season, when he had the guys, when he was really holding the guys accountable, I was like, okay, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Earlier in the season, what was it, like the 4th game into the season where we played the Nets and Kanter didn't get back on defense and he pulled them like immediately?
Exactly.
And then the defense ramped up for the rest of the game because it's like, oh shit, sorry for the language, my bad, oops. But it's like, oh damn, if I don't play, he's gonna pull me. Exactly. Now, KP's the man on your team. Do what Pop did to Tim Duncan.
Exactly.
When I look at KP would watch somebody shoot a 3, and you can't really fault him because he don't want to overcommit to the 3-point line and get burnt, because once he gets burnt, there's no rim protection besides him.
Yep.
So the coach needs to let him know, listen, don't switch anymore. Run through the screen. The thing is, and I always tell my boys and them this when I play ball with them, I'm like, listen, no matter when you play, you're going to take shots. The problem is we're allowing teams to take shots when we should be making them make shots. You know, if they make the shot, oh well. But if you let them take it, like you give them the open, they take that shot. You know?
Exactly.
If you're daring a team to shoot, they're going to shoot. And chances are somebody could go 0 for 10. But then they would hit that 1 for 11 that seals the game.
Exactly.
You know, and then you're going to feel dumb because, you know, they missed 10 shots, so I left them open for number 11.
Right.
And I mean, and I'm going to keep harkening back to earlier in the season when we were winning games. It's kind of like what we did last year. We were beating teams strictly because they didn't know what we were coming with and on the talent we have. We have a team that's got some talent on it. There's some talent on the team. Is it elite? No. People figured out, okay, send a double team at Porzingis every time. Force him to shoot over guys as opposed to earlier in the season where he would get a shoulder on you, rub off with you. And there's only so much fadeaways you can make before your legs get tired.
Right.
You know, and I'm just looking at it at this point where Hornacek is not running plays to get Porzingis good shots.
I agree.
You know,
Definitely
you have
agree.
Jared Jack. Jared Jack looks him off on almost every pick and roll. It's like Jared Jack is trying to prove that he can. Jared Jack is, 34 now or something like that?
Yeah, like 34, 35 years old.
It's no point in continuing to start Jared Jack. There's no point in that. There's really no point in that if you ask me.
Right.
Jared Jack,
especially when you have a guy now, and maybe he wants to take a little bit of time to work Tre Burke into the lineup, but you have a guy now that is used to the NBA game.
right?
He may not have the same basketball IQ as Jared Jack, but he's used to the NBA game. Jared Jack, it's time for Jared Jack to start getting spot minutes.
Get
You know what I'm
Ron
saying?
Baker minutes. Bring him in, because
You
his
know,
legs are fresher than everybody else's.
right.
And that's another thing. What's with this guy's fascination with Baker? I like
I
what he
don't
comes and
know.
gives us on the court. Like, he fights. He's not going to give you points. He's not going to give you lockdown defense, but he's going to be nagging.
Yeah.
He's annoying as hell, and I would hate for him to guard me because he's going to bump you every time he gets
Right.
near you. I wouldn't want him guarding me, but what's his fascination with that kid?
I don't know. I think he kind of reminds him of himself. You know, they had a whole big thing on it last year. It kind of reminds him of himself. I think that's part of the fascination. And they gave him that
But
contract. They gave him
how
that
can
full.
you
They
remind
gave him
him
that
of
contract, man.
Yeah, but they gave Noah a contract too when he don't
Yeah.
play.
Yeah, but I think Baker. Who gave? Was Perry here when they gave Baker that contract? I know Steve Mills was
I
definitely.
think Steve Mills gave him that contract.
And I don't know. I don't know,
God,
man. I don't know what's up.
I'm just
Especially when we're a team that doesn't have athletes and we need athletes on the floor.
we
Baker's
have
not an athlete.
we have
I
no
think Baker will find his spot somewhere in the league, but I don't know if it's going to be right now with this team. But hey, Michael, I'm gonna give
no
somebody
problem,
else
bro.
a chance to
I'm
roll
about to
in.
go try to
Thank you for the
act like I
call.
want to be at work.
Yeah, man. I hear you, man. Make sure
Be good, y'all.
do your job. You know what I'm saying? Peace out to you,
Trying.
man. Have a good
Be good, bro.
good work session, bro.
Yeah. 4 more hours.
Yeah.
Be good, man.
All right, man.
All right.
Yes, people. Yes, people. Yes, people. So we're at the trade deadline, and there's a lot of things that we can do. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things that we can do. A lot of things that definitely are going to happen, and I think when we get to the end of this month, we're exactly we're gonna know exactly what's happening and what's going on. But there's a lot of guys out there that we can get. I see somebody said, let's take a look at OKC's roster. So let's take a look at OKC's roster because we've been able to pull some players off of OKC in the past. Wow, OKC, $134 million. That's what their salary cap is right now. That's a team that is definitely going for it, right? They went for it. Steven Adams on the roster till 2020-21. He'll make $27 million in 2020-21. Melo's making $27 million 2018-19. Paul George, player option for $20 million. Russell Westbrook, $28 million 2017-18. I thought he got an extension or something like that. Maybe I thought Russell Westbrook got an extension, but so I don't know who it was. You said let's take a look. So who you talking about at the end of the bench? What kind of players you talking about down there? They do have some players. Look at Jeremiah Grant. He gets a lot of burn. $1.5 million. They got some old guys too. Raymond Felton, Nick Collison. Want to stay away from them type of guys. Although Raymond Felton's kind of found a home there, I'll give him that. Raymond Felton, for the times that I've seen him play, he's played well. Kind of found a home there. But they do have some young guys down here that's not getting paid a lot of money. This is the kind of value we're talking about. Young guys not getting paid a lot of money, but they give you good production on the floor. Good production on the floor. But so who was that? If you can call it, Skype in for a minute, talk to us a little bit about what you see on OKC and what you would like to try to bring in from OKC. I think that, but of course OKC has to be interested in some of the things that we have. And put some players on the floor that they're looking to they're looking to compete for a championship. So if we're gonna make some plays with OKC, some trades with OKC, you're gonna be looking at guys like Carlo Quinn maybe, if they think that he fits into or can provide them something off the bench, or maybe even a Courtney Lee. As much as I hate to trade Courtney Lee, that might be somebody that they'd be looking to say that they can provide something for him at that shooting guard spot. You know, a player that isn't going to be selfish, can fit in anywhere, you know. Grant, Crazy Beats SP, yeah. Jeremiah Grant is definitely talented, man. He's definitely a talented guy from Maryland. Him and Jerry Grant, they're both from Maryland. You know, I think Silver Spring. I think they was in Silver Spring. Grant for Lee O'Quinn. That's not gonna work though. That's not gonna work because you gotta have your salary's gotta match up. So something more has to be in that kind of a trade. Right? Because Jeremiah Grant is 1 point. Oh, who'd you say? You said Grant for Lee and O'Quinn. Jeremiah Grant is $1.5 million. Lee and O'Quinn together, you know, Lee is around $12 million, O'Quinn is $4 million, so that's $16 million. So then you got to have somebody else. Someone else has to be included from OKC side to even up the money. You know what I mean? You know, and honestly, I don't think OKC is gonna want to get rid of Jeremiah Grant. They need young athletes too. Every team does. Grant is athletic but can't shoot. Playmaker can only dunk. But we need. I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying. I hear you. I hear you. Can't shoot. Can only dunk. But we just need some athletes on this floor though. Some guys that can jump with people. That's one thing we really need. We really need some athletes on the floor. We need some guys that can get up with people, bother some people in the air. I mean, you seen tonight, KP come down the lane, thought he had a dunk, and Larry Nance Jr. gets right up there with him and blocks it. You know, that's athletic, man. That's athletes that we need. You know, you need them kind of athletes, you know. Grant, second round pick for KO. Well, I don't know. Do you think OKC gives up Grant? You know what I mean? I mean, he's a free agent at the end of this year. Now, so then let me ask you, if you want Jeremiah Grant, do you really trade a second round pick and Kyle O'Quinn for him when it's somebody that you could possibly sign in the offseason? Because, you know, he's making $1.5 million and he's going to be a free agent this summer. I don't know if he's a restricted free agent or just a straight up free agent. I'm not sure. But that's someone that you could possibly, if he's a restricted free agent, then maybe you do trade for him if you really want him. But if he's just a straight up free agent, you might as well try to just get him in the summer instead of giving up that second round pick. That's my opinion. I think if you're going to give up that second round pick, you want to give it up for guys that maybe have a contract that goes another year or two, small contract, you know, or if you're trying to free up cap space or something like that, that helps you get other players in the future. But if it's somebody that you can sign in the offseason, I don't think you give up a second round pick for that. O'Quinn for a Houston first round pick. Like I said before, I'm just not sure a team is going to give up a first round pick for O'Quinn, Cecil. You know, O'Quinn, for us, he does a great job. I think that O'Quinn is definitely a player that other teams are that some teams covet, teams that are playoff bound or think that they can contend, need someone that can get down there and fight and get some rebounds. But he has an opt-out. He can opt out this summer. I don't think teams are giving up a first-round pick for a guy that can opt out unless they get a commitment from him. Now, if they get a commitment from him, maybe that's a different story. Maybe it's a different story. You know. Crazy SP said there's a reason OKC kept Grant. I agree. Sean C. You say, is Grant all that valuable? It's like the fourth team in as many years. Has it really been 4 teams? I thought he was Philadelphia. I didn't know he played for other teams besides that. I thought it was just Philadelphia and OKC. Maybe so. I'd have to check. And how old is Jeremiah Grant? He was in the league before Jerry and Grant, like a year before Jerry and Grant. Darcy Jones, you say, get Julius Randle. Okay, we got another caller. Let's see if we can get that on the line. Who I got calling in? What's your name? Oh, the French Unicorn. What's up, bro?
What's up, man? How you guys doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, man.
Good, good. Bad loss today. Ugly loss.
Yeah, ugly loss, man. Definitely an ugly loss.
Ugly loss. These athletic kids kill us.
Yeah, every time, man. Every time. The athletic teams kill us every single time. We have a heck of a problem dealing with these athletic teams, man.
We can't run up and down with these guys.
We can't do it. Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We got to figure out. And it's, we don't have athletes. We got to get some athletes on the squad. I think that has to be a priority for that's got to be a priority for Steve Mills and Scott Perry this summer, is getting some athletes on the team, some guys that can run up and down the floor. That's part of the reason why we play at slow pace too, French. You know what I'm saying?
Man. Yeah.
Because we don't have athletes that want to get up and down.
I don't think we got the guys that Hornacek wants to run his offense. I think Tim Hardaway Jr., maybe a little bit of Tre Burke falls into that, but the rest of the guys, they like to get into their sets, and they're not running. They're not passing the ball up the court. We're not running that speed offense that I think Hornacek really wants us to run,
Right.
We don't have guys, yeah. I would have liked to see a little bit more Tre. Tre played well for the 7 minutes, 4 points, 4 assists.
Yep.
Would have been nice to see him play at least double those minutes tonight.
Yep. Definitely would have been nice to see him play. And, that's one thing I don't understand about Hornacek, to me. Right? If you had a guy in Utah down the stretch, he played well, helped you win the game, how come you do not reward him with minutes
and go
the
back
next
to
game
him.
and go back to him?
Hey,
Because,
yeah.
He went back to him in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
But why didn't you go back to him earlier in the game?
Yeah, yeah. Jack looked like he was tired anyway, too. I mean, get him out and put in a young, fresh guy to run with these guys. Clarkson was running up and down the court. We couldn't keep up with him, and that's partly Jackson, his 34-year-old legs,
Right. Exactly.
Get those young kids in there. If we're not, Hornacek's interview the other day says, oh, we're not going for the playoffs, slow your roll, then put the young guys in and let Jack sit, and whatever the young guys do, let them make their mistakes now. Let them learn.
Right. Because, I think earlier in the season, and this is what I couldn't understand about Hornacek earlier in the season. Earlier in the season, we would either be getting blown out or blowing teams out, right? Because early in the season, it was kind of going, we were either blowing teams out or getting blown out.
Either one or the other way, yeah.
Right. And he would have Jared Jack, we'd be up 30, and he'd have Jared Jack in the game. And I didn't get it. We'd be down 30. 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, he'd bring Jared Jack back in the game. And I didn't understand it. I'm like, why are you not saving his legs for later on in the season? He's older. He has knee surgery. Save that man for later on in the season. There was no reason to put him back in the game, but he would do it, and I didn't understand it. And now, Jared Jack is slowing down.
I think he has some kind of loyalty to the vet type thing. Oh, but right now, really, the way we're playing, the way we're giving up, especially in the fourth quarter, man, we just look like we don't have nothing to give. We just don't care, and that's not me, man.
Right. We're not having things to give. We just don't have
the athletes, the gunners.
Athletes. We don't have a burst. We need a burst. We don't have that guy that just explodes. And like Mike Beasley comes off the bench and he can score it up, but he doesn't explode. If you guys know what I mean, he doesn't like
the
John.
and the athletic plays above the rim, drawing the defense.
Right. He doesn't like he comes in, but he doesn't bring that energy. Like John Starks back in the day, when he first came to the Knicks, he came off the bench, and he would come in and explode. Like he would just come in and all of a sudden, boom, he hit 2 threes, and he's up and down the floor playing this aggressive defense.
Get the crowd into it.
Exactly, get the crowd into it. We don't have that kind of a burst from anybody on the floor. Nowhere. Tim Hardaway is that kind of a player, but of course he starts now, right? So he's not able to come in and just give us that burst because he's a starter. We need someone that can come in and give us that kind of lift, that energy and that burst. Our offense doesn't have that kind of sting to it.
Jamal Crawford type.
Somebody. Yeah, Jamal Crawford type. And then we don't create excitement with our play that much. Like I said, a couple.
So
go ahead.
To really adjust. We're going up 8, down 8, and he doesn't do nothing. He doesn't call a timeout. He doesn't pull a player, put somebody back in. He just lets them just keep rolling.
Yeah.
We're becoming very predictable. Everybody sees it coming, man.
Exactly.
That's what happens.
Very predictable. We know our point guard is going to cross over cross over half court, turn and pass it to the big man running down the middle of the floor at the top of the key. They're going to swing it to the other side of the floor, and then some kind of action is going to happen. We know that's going to happen every time down the floor. Just about.
And you're going to ISO either KP or Beasley in the fourth, and that's becoming very predictable too. And they're double guys, and
very predictable.
The last game we had more passing, and we had more Tim Hardaway Jr., and we had more guard play. This game we went back to the same predictable stuff in the fourth.
Yeah, same predictable stuff. We need to get KP. I don't know who it was I was talking to the other day. KP in that screen and roll, he barely ever rolls to the basket. When he does roll, he rolls to the pinch post and posts up. So he'll set the screen, and he'll either pop to the 3-point line, or he'll roll, but when he rolls and he posts up.
We have a 7'3" guy with a 40-inch vertical, and we never throw the alley-oop to him.
Never throw a lob to him. What is that?
It's crazy. Imagine having Chris Paul. It'd be 30 dunks a game.
Exactly. And we should be. He's 7'3". He can jump. We need to use that. You know what I'm saying? To help create some excitement.
Yeah. Let him just throw it up and let him out jump players and try to dunk on their heads. Yeah.
Exactly. Create some excitement, man. And he can do it. He can do it.
Oh, yeah. Last year, the year before, he had more dunk backs than almost anybody in the league. This year, you don't see it at all.
Right. Yeah. Right. But hey, French Unicorn, time is there. I'm gonna let some. Thanks for calling in, bro.
Thanks for having me. Yo, Marty Knicks, Tony Crow, Ismail, all the guys. Yo, have a great day. Always fun chatting with you guys, man. We talk again.
Definitely, man. Peace out.
Peace out.
Yeah, guys, we really got to find a way, man. We definitely got to find a way to liven up our offense. You know what I'm saying? Because our offense is very stagnant. It's not live. We don't do many things that make our players excited. You know what I'm saying? We're not an exciting team. We're kind of just, our offense is very, very, like we said, we don't have a lot of pace. We're slow. We play slow. You know what I'm saying? And I think we need some more things. That was one of the complaints about the triangle, right? One of the complaints about the triangle is that it was so predictable and it was so slow. Not enough pick and roll. The pace was slow. And we're doing the same things this year. The same things. Like I said, we shot 81 field goal attempts today. The Lakers, 91 field goal attempts. And that means something. Even if they shoot 30% with those 10 extra shots, that's 6 more points or possibly 9 more points. If they shoot 40%, that's 8 more points or possibly 12 more points. We need to pick up the pace, but we need the athletes to do it. Exactly, Alwyn. We need the athletes to do it. We need athletes to get up and down the floor, to create some excitement. We have no burst, but I'm not sure we have the guys to bring us that burst. I don't think we have the guys to bring it. So we gotta find a way to get those guys here. That's gonna be a job at the deadline for Scott Perry, and a job, of course, in the summer. There's three areas where we can really begin to exactly, D Brown. We're basically kind of predictable. We know exactly what we're gonna do. You know what I mean? So there's a chance at the deadline. There's a chance at during the draft, and then there's a chance in the free agency. To bring some guys in that are more athletic, can play a more exciting game. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason though that I think that Jeff Hornacek will probably be here a little bit, at least until next year, because I think Scott Perry is going to give him that chance. I think that Scott Perry is going to try to get some guys for next year, which will, excuse me, get some of those guys for next year, and give Hornacek a chance to use them. But SK, you said why don't we run horns? Horns is a staple of NBA offenses, isn't it? For the most part. And we don't run horns that much. If you guys don't know what horns is like when you bring, we run it a little bit. It's basically where you bring two bigs to the foul line area, and you got your wings down in the corner. Then you run some action off of that. Maybe you throw the ball to one of your bigs at the high post, and then you have your guard come off that, maybe set a screen to the guy in the corner where they cut to the basket. I'm not sure why we don't run horns that much. I'm not. I don't know. We don't, and I'm not sure why we don't push. Jeff Hornacek says that he wants the guys to push the ball, but it just doesn't look like we. I don't know if he does it. I don't know if he practices it, because to me, if you practice it, you will naturally do it on the floor. And I don't see us pushing the ball. We take the ball out of bounds and slowly walk the ball up the floor, without guys running on the wing. So, and you got to have guys that can do it, guys that want to do it. So, that's part of it, and that's why I think we'll be looking to find those kind of guys. Some at the trade deadline, some in the draft, trading. Making some trades during the draft, some things like that, Robert Nurse, you say yes, but if he is showing that in practice enough, his spreading the floor, Hornacek would have to play him even if his defense is iffy. In any case, we need athletic rim runners and more. Are you talking about, I didn't catch everything you were talking about there, Robert Nurse. I'm assuming maybe you're talking about Tre Burke or someone like that. But yeah, I mean, but you're right. We need guys. Whoever's pushing the ball, pushing the pace, we need guys to run with them. You know what I'm saying? To run with them. And right now, especially when you talk about that first unit, when you got Lance Thomas, he's not running with anybody. Tim Hardaway is, but Jarrett Jack's not running. Kanter, he can get up and down the floor, but he's not the kind. He's not even built to run. Straight cash homie. You say honestly, we play like we're still in a triangle. Well, we play that kind of pace. We play that kind of pace like we're still in a triangle, and we're predictable. And we still do have some triangle sets in there. Honestly, we still had some of them sets in there. So we've got to do something to pick up our offense and bring some excitement. And when you bring that kind of excitement, man, it's going to help us on the defensive end as well. Now, I seen somebody bring up Ferguson. So let's take a look at Ferguson for OKC. Let's see what we're talking about here. Excuse me. Yeah. But do we actually think OKC is giving up Ferguson? All right, Ferguson, look, they signed the guy, Terrence Ferguson, 1.7 this year, 2, then 2.4, 3.9, 5.6 for a qualifying offer. They like this guy. Are they giving him up? Probably not. If you want him, you got to give up something serious. We'll have to give up something serious. How much minutes do I think Burke will play next game? Looking at Jeff Hornacek, honestly, I don't know. Okay. So like I was talking about with whoever called in, I'm not sure. This is what I don't understand about Hornacek. Tre Burke played well against Utah, helped us get a win. In my opinion, you reward that guy. You play him. Now, yeah, he played him, but he didn't play him until the fourth quarter. In my opinion, we should have played him earlier. Give him some minutes in the first half. Reward him for his play in the previous game. You know what I'm saying? Instead, he goes right back to his same traditional lineup. All right. Now, Jared Jack, yes, he had his 10 assists. But it's still, you can see, his legs are, it's tough on him. But yeah, still, Jared Jack is playing 33 minutes a game. And I understand, look, this is what I understand about coaching. It's always going to come down to who you trust. No matter what happens, it comes down to who you trust. You know what I'm saying? And if that's who Jeff Hornacek trusts right now, that's who he's going to play. And until he builds the trust in somebody else, he's not going to play him. So a lot comes down to who you trust to put on the floor. So right now he trusts Jared Jack. The problem is that Jared Jack, while he does produce, look, he has, 6 points, 10 assists. He does produce in that way. But we need athletes out there, and he's not an athlete. You know what I'm saying? He's not an athlete. And it hurts us because of that, he can't, he's slowing down. He can't do it defensively. He struggles. He still is smart, but if you play him in spot minutes, you can still use that basketball IQ. You put him out there when you need him out there. You know what I'm saying? Straight cash. See, I like that. 4-minute intervals. See, in my opinion, that's a smart way to use Jared Jack. Even if he does start. Like you say, Jack shouldn't start anymore. He should play in 4-minute intervals. But even if he does start, I think that if you use him in 4-minute intervals, you can keep his legs fresh and you can get the most out of him. You can get the most juice out of him, even if he does start the game. You know what I'm saying? Hit him with those 4-minute intervals and let Tre Burke and Frank play the rest. And you save your intervals for the times when you truly need his basketball IQ on the floor. You know what I'm saying? I think that's probably the best way to use him. The best way to use him. YouTube belt, you say Robert Covington for O'Quinn. I love Robert Covington. Honestly, I do. I really, really like Robert Covington. He's the exact kind of guy I think we need in that 3 spot. I just don't think Philadelphia gives him up. They just signed the guy to a nice contract, I believe. I just don't think that they give him up. Let's look at what Robert Covington's contract is. But I really, really like Robert Covington. And he's the kind of guy that I would love to have on the squad. Looks like my computer's acting funny a little bit, guys. My website's acting funny. I'm going to pull that up. Let me just clean this up a little bit. Get this together because, I like Robert Covington. I'm not sure what his contract is. But if we could trade Kyle O'Quinn for Robert Covington, I'd be all for it all day long. Trust me, all day long. And he fits perfectly with the type of game that we want to play. He can play defense. He can shoot the 3. He's got energy. He's athletic. He does everything that we want. Everything that we want in a 3, he has it. And I am very, very envious of Philadelphia for having Robert Covington on their squad. Very envious. So let's take a look. Let's see what he's looking like and what it would take to get Robert Covington from Philly. I don't think it takes anything because I don't think Philly gives him up. Yeah, they just signed him to a nice contract. Look at this. $16 million this year. Then they extended him $10 million in 2018-19, $11 million in 2019-20, 2020-21, $12 million, 2021-22, $12 million. So they got him on the books for a while. For a while, they got that man locked up. Because, you know, he has crazy potential. And, you know, he's young. Well, not that young. He's 27. You know, well, you know, he's 27 years old. Just turned 27, I guess. You know, so he's older than I thought he was. He's older than I thought he was. But, you know, they got him locked up. Wow. They got him locked up until he's 1, 2, 3, 4 years. They got him locked up till he's 31. So they obviously believe that man's going to do something big. But I really like Robert Covington. I like what he brings, man. You know, let's take a look at what his stats are this year real quick. Let's take a look at what he's doing. But I definitely like the idea of Robert Covington. He's on a really long contract, though. I will say that. They extended him. He's on a really long contract. Longer than I thought. But if he continues to produce the way if he continues to kind of play that he's playing, then maybe, you know, he's worth that contract, right? So, okay, so he was drafted in 2013. Let's see what his stats are. Robert Covington, 13.4 points, 5 rebounds a game, 1.9 assists. You know, so, yeah, definitely. Robert Covington is, you know, he's a player. What was he drafted? He was drafted in 2013, 27 years old. But he's definitely the kind of guy that I like to have on the Knicks. Definitely the kind of guy. Courtney Lee, YouTube bid. You say Courtney Lee and O'Quinn for him. I mean, I just don't think Philadelphia would do it. You know what I'm saying? Anything, you know, we got to look at guys, of course. These, you know, that's the prototype of guy that we want, but you got to look at guys that, if you're really seriously looking at a trade, you got to think about guys that Philadelphia would actually trade. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he is older than I thought. That's the only thing, man. If you trade for him, you see what his contract was. He was 27 years old, and his contract is until 2021-22. You know, at that time he's 31 years old. You know, and maybe he outplays his contract, and maybe, you know, who knows? But he's definitely the kind of guy that we want here, for sure. Alwyn Dwart, you say the best trade we could make is not for a player, but removing any large contracts we have. Now, that would be ideal as well. And there's only really, well, I don't want to say any large contract, because for us, our largest contract is Enes Kanter. That's our largest contract. And then it's Tim Hardaway Jr. And then of course Joakim Noah. You know, a good trade would be moving Joakim Noah if we could. But I don't know. I just don't know that's going to happen without us giving up a first round draft pick or giving up something really, really valuable. You know, but it would be nice to be able to shed some salary. If we really do want to give up Kanter, but, you know, Kanter is young, he could still be part of the future. But if you really do want to give up Kanter, then Kanter, you know, he comes off the books next year. You know, but I wouldn't put it past the Knicks to listen to. I don't think anybody on the team is. I don't think anybody on the team is untouchable except for Porzingis and maybe Frank and Tim Hardaway. Other than that, I think everybody is up for grabs. Everybody. So I'm sure, and the way guys have been playing, I'm sure some people are interested. For once, we do have some assets. Like seriously, we have some assets where we have first round draft picks, which I don't want to trade any unless we're getting a bona fide guy that's going to transition our organization. You know what I'm saying? But, we got first round draft picks 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. We got our first round draft picks. We got young guys on deals that are small deals but expire, right? Doug McDermott is on a small deal. So let's get back to the Knicks and look at for some reason Hoops Hype they messing up. I don't know what's up. Okay. But let's get back and look at our salary situation. You got Ron Baker, even though he's probably not worth that $4 million a year right now. That's still a small deal and could be used in a bigger trade, as filler. Kylo Quinn is on a deal that people would covet, especially because he opts out. He has an opt-out. Doug McDermott, he has a qualifying offer of $4 million. He makes $3 million this year. He's on a small deal. Jarrett Jack Sessions, but Billy Hernan Gomez is on a small deal, a player that teams would covet. Right? You got Damian Dotson, which I would not want to trade because I think he has a future, but he's on a small deal. So we have draft picks, we have young talent that we could use in trade. So we do have some assets that we could use if we, to pull in some players, especially if you're talking about players that want to leave their teams or there's some kind of discord or some kind of trouble. We have some athletes out there. You know what I mean? Some players out there, some assets out there. So we'll see how Scott Perry uses them to make the team better in a smart way, in a way that sets us up, keeps us flexible for the future, but improves us today. So I think we're going to be players at the trade deadline. We're going to be players in the draft. We're going to be players in free agency, and we just got to hope that I believe Scott Perry is the guy that can do it. Straight Cash, homie, you say the draft is too deep to trade away that pick. I agree. Michael Porter might not go top because of injury. I agree with that as well. That's how deep this draft is. Exactly. You're exactly right. You do not touch that 2018 draft pick. You don't touch it. And, of course, the NBA has it set up where, let's say we traded that 2019 draft pick to bring in a player, then you can't trade the 2020 draft pick. So, you would still have your draft picks, although I wouldn't want to trade it unless, unless you're trading a draft pick. If you're trading a first-round draft pick down the line and you're bringing in some players that's going to make you good, then maybe that draft pick isn't worth much later down the line. But, we've been through that process. We've tried that process. Our expectations with Melo when we included so many draft picks is that we were going to be a good team, and those draft picks were going to be low, in the low first round, and we weren't going to need them. It backfired. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Bargnani. We brought in Bargnani, traded Bargnani for a first-round draft pick, and that blew up in our face like crazy, and it that blew up in our face like crazy, but the idea behind it was that he was going to help us contend and that that draft pick would be useless for us. But everything that we did back then was all short-sighted. we were never really looking for the future. And if we always keep the future in mind, even when we're good, we keep the future in mind, we'll be okay. Noah Feria, you said we say keep all picks and play only youth. If we lose, we lose, but at least it's hopefully growth and improvement. See, Noah, I agree with you, and I agree. This is what I agree with. And people are gonna say, well, Simeon, you talk about tanking, and I'm not, because tanking is something different. This is what I agree with. You keep all pick and you play with your youth. If you make the playoffs, that's great. That's a positive. That's a plus. Right? But you try to win with who you have. When teams are tanking, this is what happens when a team tanks. They play with their youth, but if a player starts to really play well and they're starting to win, they sit them. Right? That's what the Suns did with Eric Bledsoe. Eric Bledsoe was playing well. They sat him for the rest of last season so that they can tank. I don't agree with that. You don't do that. You know what I'm saying? If you want to play your youth, I'm cool with that. I get that. I want to watch the youth play. But if someone's playing well and you start winning, you don't say, no, we're not going to win because we're tanking. You go with it and you continue to try to win. That's what I'm saying. That's where my mindset is with it. So yeah, I agree with that. Play our young guys. Who we got calling? We got somebody calling in here. How you know? Who I'm talking with? Who am I talking with?
Hey, my name is Jabril Supreme Ali.
Supreme Ali, what's going on, bro?
How you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. Glad you joined the chat.
Hey, man, I found out about the show like 3 weeks ago, and I've been watching every show ever since. Huge Knicks fan.
Nice. Appreciate that, bro. Definitely.
Yeah, but I want to kind of talk about what we've been talking about as far as, like, going forward and everything. I think what we need to be doing right now, I think Jay Jack should right now be taking what Ramon Sessions' role was before.
Mm-hmm.
I think he should be playing limited minutes. Like I think someone said in the chat before, playing in spurts.
4-minute spurts. That's exactly what we want to do.
Exactly, yep. Playing in spurts. I think Frank should be starting, and Tre Burke should be staggered in with the starters.
Okay.
And he should be our bench point guard.
Okay.
I think someone just said in the chat too. I think it was Robert Nurse. I think it was. I want to hope I got his name right.
Robert.
I think he said Kanter is being showcased, which I could see his point. That could be possible. What do you think about that?
About Kanter? And then let me start this clock. I forgot to start the clock.
Right.
Kanter, do I think he's being showcased? So I don't know, because Kanter's been getting a lot of minutes all season. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he's been he's been getting a lot of minutes all season, and he's been productive, of course, averaging a double-double. And now there's been, he's complained a little bit about his usage down the stretch. And
he's been getting benched in the fourth quarter a lot.
Right, and he doesn't really like the way that they've been using him down the stretch. You know what I'm saying? Which, sometimes there are games when I think that you definitely need to use Kanter down the stretch, because he is, the way that he can rebound the ball. But then there's sometimes when other teams, the matchups just don't work. But are they showcasing him? Maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe. I think that teams know what he can do. He's been in the league for a while, so they know what he can do, and they see what he's doing this year. But I wouldn't be surprised if his name comes up in trade talks, though.
Yeah. Do you think at some point it's going to have to come down to Kanter versus Willie?
Kanter versus Billy? I think that if Kanter is on the team for the remainder of this year and for next year, and Kylo Quinn is traded, then I think Billy is going to get minutes behind Kanter. That's what I think.
Yeah,
I think, and I don't think it'd be Kanter versus Billy. I think it'd just be Kanter's the starter, and Billy comes in and plays behind him. Now this is going to be the problem if and when Kylo Quinn is traded, and I think he will be traded. I think this is going to be the problem. Kanter has a hard time playing defense which is the reason why he's not playing in the fourth. Now, he's played some decent defense, but when it comes time to having teams go small and they have athletes on the floor, he struggles. I think
Yeah.
Billy has the same issue, right? So then if Kylo Quinn is gone, who do we bring in that 5 spot that can play defense? It would have to be Noah. Right?
Yeah,
So,
agreed.
So
Yeah.
that's where I think we're going to see the issue. I think it's going to be between Billy and Noah, not really Billy and Kanter. Because Hornacek's going to have to make the decision now. Do I use Billy?
Mm-hmm.
Or do I use Noah because Noah can provide that defense? That's why I think we're going to see that this may be a little bit of a competition.
Agreed. Yeah. And I just want to say for everyone in the chat saying Frank is a bum, Frank is this, Frank is that. I think those people just need to stop because I think Frank has. All right, I might have a little Knicks bias here. I'll admit that off top. I think Frank has one of the highest upsides in the draft this past year.
Yeah, and I think some of those guys, they know a lot of people in the chat support Frank. So some of the guys really mean it, and I think some guys is trying to get a rise out of some other people.
Yeah.
But we got to be patient with Frank, man. You got to be patient with him.
Agreed. Like I said, he's
19 years old, man.
Exactly, yeah.
And people are going to like Lily Phillips. He's the one. He likes to get a rise out of. He likes to get a rise out of us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Lily, I said it. I said it. But I know people that don't support Frank are probably tired of hearing it. You know what I'm saying? That he's 19 years old, but 19 years old, that's a lot. If you ever paid attention to AAU, right? They got you broken up 15 under, 16 under, 17 under, 18. Why do you think they have you broken up that way? They have it broken up that way because each year means a lot in a player's development as far as strength, speed. You always get you get some players that are fast
especially
enough
that young,
and strong enough to play on another level. But for the most part, year to year, players are stronger, faster, have more basketball knowledge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's where we gotta look at Frank. He's a baby. He's a baby in the league. You know
absolutely.
what I'm saying? And so you got to give that man some time to develop. To me, it's impressive that he is so young in the league without being that super duper star like a LeBron was, and even Carmelo came in the league and he was only 19 years old because he only played 1 year at Syracuse. Without being those kind of guys, to be able to come in the league at 19 and still be able to perform well enough to contribute, that's impressive in and of itself, in my opinion. Because,
exactly, yeah.
And people are saying, well, Dennis Smith Jr. is doing it too, but he turned 20. He's almost a whole year older than Frank.
And those guys are freaks too. Those guys you named, those guys are freaks.
Yeah.
They came in ready. Their body was ready.
Exactly.
Mentally. So I think those guys are different. And I know as far as Frank, like if you look at a guy like Giannis, like if Giannis was on the Knicks, we would have ran him out of town before he became a superstar.
Right. Exactly. You look at like let me share the screen and keep you on the clock too. Keep you up here. Right. So if we look, I'm gonna pull over. I know I got the salaries up, but we're able to look at these guys' age. Right. So let's bring up Dennis Smith Jr. And look, I just want to be clear to everyone. I have nothing against Dennis Smith Jr. I think Dennis Smith, even though he's not the guy that I liked Frank over Dennis Smith Jr., but I don't have anything against Dennis Smith Jr. I want the guy to do well, right? But if you look at Dennis Smith Jr., he was born November 25th, 1997. So he's almost a whole year. He turned 20 November 25th. Frank turned 19 in July. Right? So you're talking about 4 or 5 months. I mean, Dennis Smith Jr. is almost a whole year older than Frank, and that means a whole lot. That means a lot when you're talking
A
about a
lot.
player's development. Dennis Mitchell. Dennis Mitchell. Let's look at Dennis Mitchell. Right? Because Dennis Mitchell is 21 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He is now this thing wants to freeze up. But anyway, Dennis Smith, he's 21. He's a whole 2 years, and I think he turned 21 in like September. He's a whole 2 years older than Frank. 2 years.
And he had the 2 years in college. And those 2 years in college, he got to prove and get better.
Right. And you got the 2 years in college where you're seriously on a weight training program and those type of things. You know. So, yeah, it's going to be, there's going to be a difference with those guys because Frank is so young. You know
Absolutely, yeah.
Frank is
I just think we got
so young.
We got a core group of guys I think we got to hold on to. It's got to be Frank. It's got to be, of course, Kristaps. I think it's Tim. I think we keep Courtney Lee with our young squad and let them grow with Court. I think we keep one vet, and that's Courtney Lee around. I think we need to follow Golden State's mode. Just draft, get young players. No, I think we shouldn't be looking at anyone over 25 at this point.
I agree.
Get young guys, build, let them grow together, and we got to build to compete post LeBron's run in the East.
I agree.
Build to compete post Golden State's run.
Right. I agree with you. Well, look, man.
Yeah,
Supreme,
I'll let you go.
I appreciate you calling in, man. Hopefully you're a guy that stays on with us
Absolutely.
each night. You know what I'm saying? Tonight's almost a marathon night for us, man, because, you know, it's a Sunday night. The game was early. So, you know, I'm just on here talking, and I know I had somebody tell me, man, your streams is way too long. That's what somebody told me. but you know, we just on here talking. You know, I'll probably get off in another half hour or so. It's a 3-hour stream, but so what, man? We talking about the Knicks. It's cool.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thanks for having me, man. Shout out to Marty.
Definitely. Yeah, guys, and that's one thing we got to understand about Frank, man. Frank he really, really, really is super, super young. I mean, he really is. He's almost a high school. He almost went from high school to the NBA, seriously, when you talk about his age. When you talk about his age, he almost went from high school to the NBA. You know what I'm saying? He's seriously young. And I think we're expecting that guy to be this crazy superstar already. Appreciate that, Lily Phillips. Yeah, I just had some guy who said, man, he was like, man, I love your show, but the streams is mad long. And I was like, you know, it's cool though. You know, everybody has their thing. I get that. You know, some people, this is what it is. Some people, they want to, they want to join in, but they want to see it all the way to the end. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, dang, it's so long, man. I can't see it to the end. So I think it's something like that. He didn't mean no ill will towards it, you know. But I appreciate that, Lily. But yeah, with Frank, man, it's almost like he's coming straight out of high school and coming to the NBA with how young he is. So I think, you know, we got to give him that time. When we look at a player like Kevin Garnett, right now, Kevin Garnett, when he came in the league, he came out of high school, he was 19 years old. You know what I'm saying? Now, he averaged 10 points, 6 rebounds. That was with 28 minutes a game. You know what I'm saying? That's with 28 minutes a game, he averaged 10 points and 6 rebounds. 19 years old and a 19-year-old body. You know, and that was straight out of high school. Okay, Kevin Garnett's birthday. Let's see when his birthday is. Kevin Garnett, let me go back. I just seen it somewhere. Kevin Garnett's birthday is May 19th. So that means when he was drafted, he had just turned 19 years old when he was drafted into the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so you look at KG, and I know they play different positions, but I'm just giving us a comparison as far as age is concerned, right? Yeah, his first year, 10 points, 4 rebounds. 10 points, 6 rebounds, 28 minutes a game. You know what I'm saying? You know, of course, that's a significant amount of minutes for a young guy. You know, and he still only averaged 10.4 rebounds. But as he got older, he played more minutes, and he averaged more points and more rebounds, and of course did his thing. He was KG, but he came in young. You know what I'm saying? He came in young. Frank, on the other hand, if you look up Frank right now, and this is, if anyone's hasn't been to Basketball Reference, this is a really good site to look up, just like advanced stats and stuff like that. You get a really, lot of cool stuff on here where you can learn about players. You know what I'm saying? But if you look at Frank, man, in 20 minutes, he's averaging 5 points, 3.5 assists. You add 8 or 9 more minutes a game to that, he's probably averaging 8 points and 5 assists. You know what I'm saying? As a rookie. And that would be on par with KG, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Raymond Walker, I'm about to get you on right now, brother. Raymond Walker, what's popping, man? What's popping? I'm doing all right, bro. Hold on, let me get you in. All right. Okay, say what's up to the chat, man.
What's up, chat, man? Good conversation, man.
All right.
But what I was talking about with Frank was, I think people are just like underestimating him a little bit, because I think he's so young, he's not getting his pace down back to get the offense clicking like how it should be. And I feel like that's where the starting him will be better, because he'll get the talent, the KP. He's very good at driving and dishing. He's just not getting the opportunity to take that skill and like just do it. And he just needs time. I just can't see how you could look at a kid that played 40-something games at 19 years old and say he's a bum. And he's actually getting respected at a high level on defense. Like, you're talking about top-tier players are giving him they're tipping their hat to him on defense. And we could see it. And that's how. And another thing is with the coach, I just feel like that rotation is his weak point, because tonight he should have never took out Tre. He should, even in the beginning when he took out KP and those guys, I think that wasn't a smart move for the rhythm of the team, because they were really locked in, and then he just pulled guys, and then you just saw that it just went stagnant.
Right. And
I just couldn't see how he's not seeing that game after game after game. Like like everybody keeps saying, Jack is not. He's older. And you can see he put a lot into those games he won for us, really. But he's burning out right now.
He is.
And,
he's burning out.
Burning out. So give the young guy the fresh legs that it's like the perfect time for them to marry them. The young guy, old guy moving off, transition, and he's just not taking advantage of it, man.
Right. and I think that's the for a lot of fans right now, that's the thing. That's what one of the things they're concerned about, man, with Hornacek, is he's stuck with what he wants. And like I said before, I think it has to do with him being he's a little bit more comfortable with Jack right now. You know what I'm saying? But he's gonna have to come out of his comfort zone soon.
Yeah, but for me, I feel that's maybe not the all of it, but I think that's kind of hampering Frank's confidence a little bit, because you know what I mean. Like, you gotta let those games that you see him displaying this good defense and all of this, and when this guy is coming in, he's like getting caught on all the screens, so all these other guys are just turning the corner and just doing what they're doing. Like tonight, they shredded us, man, and it was. They killed us.
Offensively, defensively, we looked real bad tonight.
Yeah.
We look real bad. I mean, when you score, I think we scored 64 points at halftime, and we don't have the lead.
That's crazy.
That's bad. That's bad. You know what I mean? That's crazy.
Clyde was talking about it. They was the assists were up. The guys, I don't understand how you cannot see that it's a rhythm thing that's really breaking these guys, because they play in good spurts, and then that bad rotation just kind of take the whole team left.
Yeah, I feel
it. Yeah, and then those little points, those little times, that's where you see a lot of the turnovers, a lot of the fouling. So it just kind of like it puts us in a bad predicament for the rest of the game, and we end up always trying to fight out of this 10-point deficit at the fourth. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's redundant, man.
Definitely.
And with the trade thing too, before I forget, man, I feel like we shouldn't really do any trades right now. Like, if we were to do trades, we should do like small trades for like younger players to get like younger, like an athletic wing, or a more vertical center to help KP. Because like I'm watching the game today, it was like KP had to like literally like he's always trying to beeline to the rim just to go protect it, because those other guys were getting manhandled. They can't get off the floor. They can't get the rebound. And if Kanter is not bullying everybody, you just don't get the rebound.
Right.
No boxing out. No, I feel like not right now. Like, I feel like we should kind of see more what we got. Because, like, when people talk about Kemba, I think what we're looking for Kemba to do, I think that's what Tre Burke does. And we have him on a less contract. We're not, like you always refer to, we're not messing up the future timeline of our team, which is the most important thing we should be worried about right now.
Right, exactly. We should be worried about that future.
Because you think about it, what if we get on a roll? What if they go on a roll right now and probably win like a 7 out of 10 for the next 10 games? We're back on cloud 9,
right,
and ahead of schedule from what we should be doing. So I don't think we just need to relax and kind of just like see it through to see what we really need by the end of the season. Because if we just keep trading, we're not going to really. He's not going to stop nobody on defense.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody's not going to do that.
Right. And I definitely agree that we don't need anything big to try to push us into the playoffs.
No.
The only way I see is, in my opinion, it would be smart to do something big is if it doesn't hurt us for the future.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the only way that I see. Like, just say, for example, they said, okay, we'll do Courtney Lee for Kemba Walker. Let's just say, of course they wouldn't do that. But if they said to do that, then you're like, okay, you know what?
Yeah, but Courtney Lee's so important to us, though.
He's definitely important to us. You're right. He's definitely important to us. But if they said to do that, you kind of wouldn't. People would kill Scott Perry if he didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Because they both make the same amount of money. Kemba Walker's contract ends earlier than Courtney Lee, and of course, Kemba Walker gives you a better, more production on the floor. And it wouldn't hurt. And it wouldn't hurt your young guys in the future because you wouldn't have to give up Frank. You wouldn't have to, give up a draft pick. Of course, Charlotte wouldn't do that.
But we're gonna be in a logjam at the point guard spot.
It would be, but then that's when Jared Jack would have to just, okay, he's sitting. Somebody would be sitting. I think it would be Jared Jack.
That's why I really felt.
But I'm just giving that as an example, as if that kind of a trade came along where it didn't hurt us in the future and it still helped us now, then you do it. But I think that you don't. You don't do anything. You don't do any kind of trade that's going to hurt us in the future, whether it be salary cap or giving up some young guys. The only way you do that is if something coming back is franchise changing. In my opinion,
everybody want our young guys though. Everybody want our young guys.
Right.
That's the thing. That's hard to pull a trade off. And you don't want to start giving picks to sweeten the deal because you want to keep those picks to have those things keep coming in every year to continue to build.
Exactly. So
I don't.
But Raymond, I'm gonna have to open up the lines to somebody else, man. I appreciate you for calling in.
Pretty much, man, and you do not stop, my brother.
I feel you, bro.
this is something for us, man. Thank you very much. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat, man.
Definitely, we're gonna keep it going, man. After every game, even if I'm not in the studio, I'm doing it after every game. You could trust that.
And I was up with you 1:30 in the morning the other night. Oh, don't worry, man. Right. We here. We here.
Definitely. All right, man.
All right,
peace out, brother.
Much love.
All right, definitely, guys. Hey, I was looking in the chat, man, and I see some guys talking about like my man Raymond just brought up. He said, we don't have a guy. Every time, guys are penetrating to the basket, you see KP hustling back there to try to get the block. And he's right. And then I seen it brought up in the chat, guys talking about, how we need Mighty Knicks, I believe it was, how we need a center, a shot blocker center. And I fully agree. We do. We do. When I really thought at one point that Kanter was going to be the guy for the future, and I really do like Kanter. I like his I love the way that he rebounds and he can score. But maybe Kanter, if we can get a center that is a defensive guy that can rebound and block shots and score a little bit, then maybe Kanter is better coming off the bench, which is the reason why OKC had him coming off the bench. You know what I'm saying? Because I agree there. We definitely need a guy that can rebound, block shots, score off those screen and rolls, open it to him off the screen and roll. We need some guys like that. You know what I mean? Or one guy like that. Because KP, too much, he's having to hustle back to try to block shots. You know what I'm saying? That takes a lot out of him too. We need somebody else that can help protect the rim. And because if KP was playing the 5, that might be something different. But with KP playing the floor, he's a little bit out on the perimeter on defense, which, when he's out on the perimeter on defense, that kind of it negates him from getting as many rebounds as he could. And it also, means that he has to work a little bit harder to protect the basket. You know what I'm saying? So, we do need a shot blocker center. So we definitely need a shot blocker center out there to help him out. Famous, you say Drummond, Whiteside type. Yeah, I think one of them type of guys. They don't necessarily have to be a scoring center or a guy that can post up. If they can do that, you won't mind it. You know what I'm saying? You don't mind it. But a guy that can block some shots, get some rebounds, score off the oop, I think that's the kind of guy, a guy that can run the floor. I think that's the kind of guy that we need. Frank Kaminsky? Nah, we don't think we need a Frank Kaminsky. I don't think we need that kind of a center. Someone that's more in the mode of a Whiteside, one of them type of guys. I think that's who we need. And that's the kind of, I'm not saying that's who we need. That's the kind of center that we need, I believe. Tony Crow, my man Tony Crow calling in. Tony Crow, what's popping, bro? What's happening with you, man?
What's going on, Simeon?
I'm feeling good, man. Feeling good. Yeah, for sure, man. Definitely. I was wondering when you was coming in, man. I was wondering when you was calling in.
Yeah, I was at work. I missed the game. I got to see some of the third quarter.
Okay.
When they was going back and forth with them threes, it was looking good. But I don't know what happened. So you can fill me in, because I'm not gonna watch a loss.
I mean, I don't know what happened, man. Like, that third quarter was looking good. We got a 4-point play. We built like an 8-point lead or whatever it was. Then we let up. I think more than not, I think the athleticism of the Lakers got to us. When you're outmatched, in my opinion, most of the time, I will say 90% of the time in the NBA, when you're outmatched in a certain part of the game, whether it be size or athleticism, sooner or later it catches up. You know what I'm saying? Sooner or later it catches up to you. And I think that's what happened with us to us tonight. It kind of caught up to us.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? Just not having the athletes. And then they end up really pounding us in the fourth. and we lost by 20.
Whoa.
We lost by 20.
Wow.
We gave up 127 points. We lost 127-107.
Wow.
Lost by 20, man. And there was it got embarrassing a little bit, man, because we shouldn't. They didn't have Lonzo Ball playing, you know what I'm saying? But they were still getting up and down the floor. Still getting up and down the floor.
Oh man.
Whoa. Guys like what's his name? Julius Randle was killing us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was killing us down there. We couldn't do nothing with him. I mean, they just had athletes jumping all over the place, so we couldn't handle it. Bottom line.
What's their record right now? The Lakers.
Right now, the Lakers are 17-29 right now. Yep, 17-29. They won the last 2 games. We're 21-26. We got the Warriors coming up. We are now 3 games out of that 8th spot, and it's looking grimmer and grimmer every time we turn around, because after the Warriors, it gets a little bit. After the Warriors, the game it gets a little bit tougher. Still winnable games, but a little bit tougher. You know what I'm saying? We play after the Warriors. Okay, so we play the Warriors Tuesday night, 10:30. So we're gonna have another late night on the chat. Then we play the Nuggets. That's gonna be a tough game. They're 23-23, winnable. We beat them the first time, but that's still a tough game. Then we play Phoenix. We should be able to beat them. All right. Then we got a little bit of a break.
I missed a lot of the chat, but I seen a couple people or heard you talking about some possible trades or what you think what direction we should go or whatever.
Yeah, I mean right now I'm still in support of waiting to see what happens at the end of excuse me, at the end of January. So I still support that. See what happens at the end of January, and then go from there. You know what I'm saying? But I do think that I think we're definitely going to be active at the trade deadline. But we play Phoenix after the after the Warriors. We play the Nuggets. Then we play Phoenix. We should be able to, that's a team that we can beat. Then we come back home and play Brooklyn. Then after Brooklyn, we play Boston. There's a back-to-back in Boston. And then if we're getting into February now, we play Milwaukee on the road, Atlanta at home, Milwaukee at home. And Milwaukee's record right now, they're 23-22. Right, 500 team. Then we play Toronto and Toronto. Indiana,
what do you think the trade interest in Kanter is?
The interest in Kanter? I don't know. I think teams know what Kanter brings to the table. He's been in the league for a while. They know what he brings. They know he can score down low at an elite level. He can score down low. They know he can rebound at an elite level, but he doesn't defend. I think that his contract might scare some guys away. I think, might scare some teams away, because of his contract, unless they're really just trying to get rid of somebody and they're getting something back young. Yeah. Because he's not that complete. He's not a complete player. He's not a complete center. So I think that contract might scare him a little bit.
I mean, it really depends, because some people may be interested in him not re-signing and saving the money, and then some people may be willing to try to convince him to stay.
Yeah, I think. But
I think he's pretty. I think his value is pretty high as far as who we have. He's got to be like one of the top 2 tradable assets.
Yeah,
behind
probably so.
Maybe. I mean, because I figure O'Quinn is kind of the same situation. He has the option to stay, right?
He has
a
so does Kanter. Kanter has an option at the end of the season as well.
Same situation, just a little less money.
Right, less money.
So I would put his value a little higher than O'Quinn's.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. And I think Kanter's value is going to be higher next year, in my opinion, than this year. And what I mean by that is, I think he's going to opt in. I think he's going to, finish out his contract and take that $18 million that he's going to get next year. And then around the trade deadline next year, I think that Kanter's name is really going to come up in trade talks because his contract will be expiring. So teams looking to save some money, they're going to they'll be looking at Kanter because next year he'll be making $18 million. He'll be able to, his contract will be expiring. So teams like Charlotte this year, they're looking to free up some money. Teams like that, they'll be looking at Kanter because say, okay, we'll trade you, and then Kanter's contract is done. They let him go, and they just freed up $18 million. So he'll be more valuable next year, I think.
All right.
As far as trades are concerned.
I thought I checked in earlier when I was still at work real quick, and I thought I heard you talking about Kemba Walker and Nick Batum packaged together.
Well, what I was talking about is Charlotte. The Charlotte Hornets, they want to engage us. They want to talk to us about a trade, right? But what they want to do, they want to trade Kemba Walker, but they want a team to accept one of their big contracts. Nicolas Batum's contract he's getting like superstar money, like $25 million a year, all the way up until 2021. So they're really trying to get rid of that contract.
I checked in real quick. I heard you say those exact words, but I was still at work. You know what though? Now I know he's having a bad year, but if we could include Noah and get them too, they both can play multiple positions. They both can defend multiple positions. Nick Batum, that kid is good.
He's good, but I don't know if he's $25 million good. That's my thing.
He's not. But if you compare his money and contract to Noah's and production, I'd rather pay him the extra $6 million and get some production.
I hear that. You know what? I get you, but you're not paying him an extra $6 million. You're actually paying him an extra.
Well, I meant per year.
Yeah, per year. But then he has an extra year. So
listen,
he has an extra year. And that extra year, see, this is the thing. That extra year would cripple us. The reason why it would cripple us is because remember, 2019, 2020, that's the year that we free up a whole lot of money, and we'll be looking to really make some moves that year. 2019, we're able to free up about $20 million, $18 to $20 million in 2019, depending on cap holds and draft picks and all that stuff. So maybe it's lower, maybe it's $17 million. But in 2020, we can free up a lot of money because a lot of people come off the books and stuff. If you have Nicolas Batum, that's $25 million, $27 million that eats up your cap space because he has a player option. And he's opting into that $27 million. I can guarantee it.
Absolutely. I get that.
You know what I'm saying? So
but
it would hurt us in 2020. It would definitely hurt us in 2020.
Man, listen, I still would think about it. I'd seriously consider it. This kid can play the 4, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, the 2, 3, and 4. That's 3 positions he could play.
He can. I mean, I agree. He can. If his contract was $12 million a year, I'd probably be all over it. You know what I'm saying? What's he doing this year? Let's look and see what he's doing this year. That's what I want to see. I want to see what.
All right, look at this year, but also look at last year. Because I know he's not.
He said, but also look at last year.
but I'm telling you, the kid, and if we could keep, he's French, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
He's French.
If we keep him, if we keep Frank, you know, that's a little bondage there.
That's true. That's true. And then you look at it, man. He's 29 years old. So you know how much better is he going to get? You know what I'm saying? How much better is he going to get? So this year, you look at it. This year, he's averaging 26. He's averaging 10 points per game this year. 10 points, 4 rebounds, 4.7 assists. Shooting 41% from the floor, 28% from three. For his career, he's 12 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Hey, Charlotte must have thought he was really going to kill. You know what I'm saying? If you look at last year, what did he do last year? Last year, he was 15 points a game, 15 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. I mean, that's tough, man. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
It is
for a guy who hasn't averaged over 15 a game. That's a lot of money.
But he's an all around player. You know what I mean?
He is. He's an all around player.
He does it all. He was one of those close to triple double guys before you know. Yeah. Yep. Russ Westbrook was actually doing the triple doubles and all that. So, I mean, I would definitely consider it. You know, we may just have to lose some other veterans if that's the case. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it because if his contract ended in 2019, 2020, I'd consider it. Because then, like you said, okay, you're paying $6 million more a year, but you're getting some production where Noah's not giving you any production. You're actually getting a guy that can come in, play that 3 spot, you know what I'm saying, and produce for you, where Noah's not giving you anything right now. I get that. It's that extra year that I don't like. Because
that extra year doesn't always hinder, because now you could go after another player with the money that has multiple years. You know what I mean?
Right.
And somebody that wants to shed, you know what I mean?
Right. That extra year will hurt us. You know what I'm saying? Because he's definitely going to opt into that $27 million without a doubt. So that extra year will hurt us big time.
No, I mean it hurt us if we can't trade him, but somebody may be willing to take him, who has a player that has 3 years. You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. Right. Somebody might be willing to take him, but then my only thing is, then we still, if someone's willing to take him so that they can clear money off their books, that means they got some players that's in the contract that was Batum a couple years ago, right? Then we throwing bad money after bad money.
Well,
that's what we would be doing if we trade Joakim Noah for Nicolas Batum. We throwing bad money after bad money. And then we would be looking to do the same thing with Nicolas Batum later on. And then again, we'd probably be throwing bad money after bad money, because then we have to trade him for another player that's making that amount of money, or multiple players that's making that amount of money.
But it could be a disgruntled star, you know what I mean? Like a Paul George, somebody like you know what I mean, situation.
You're right.
That's what I'm saying. It's always something that I'll deal with it when the time arises.
Right.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah. It could be something like that. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't know if I take that chance, because what happens if it doesn't come up? Then now it's like, damn, we gotta pay this man $27 million that we could have used to sign somebody.
True.
You know, yeah. That's why I think I stay away from Nicolas Batum. Yeah, and I think Charlotte's gonna be stuck with that guy for a while too. I think they're gonna be stuck with him, man. Yeah,
I would like to know what his injury status is. Do you know how many games he missed this year?
How many games he missed this year? I'm not sure. Let's see how many games he missed. Because he was hurt. He was injured in the beginning of the year, right?
Say that again?
I think he was injured in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not sure exactly how many games he missed this season. So far, he's played 30 games, so he's probably missed, 12, 15, 17 games, somewhere around there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Again, I would only do that again if we're not giving up draft picks, because again, I think that's where our youth is going to come from. You know what I mean?
If Charlotte wants us to take Nicolas Batum, they need to give us a first-round draft pick. You know what I'm saying? They need to give us a first round draft pick if Charlotte wants to take Nicolas Batum. If they want us to take him, they need to give us a first round draft pick.
Or the right.
or what?
The right to swap.
Or the right to swap or something like that. Yeah, they got to sweeten that pot a little bit with something, because that's a hefty contract. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely a hefty contract, man. That's a big one.
But again, I'd rather pay somebody who's producing, areas than like the way you talking. That's how I feel about Noah right now. Like whatever we gotta do to get rid of him.
I definitely get your logic though. I definitely understand your logic. You know what I mean? Because I would definitely consider it if his contract ended in 2020, you know what I'm saying? If his contract ended in 2020, and then so now you say, okay, well, we were going to be paying Joakim Noah $17, $18 million a year anyway. So now it's like we're paying for someone who can give us 10 to 15 points a game, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. I get that. Yeah, I would definitely consider that. You know what I'm saying? But because that extra year, it scares me.
Shit, if his contract ended in 2020, we need to give them the draft pick. So.
Yeah, right. We probably would. Yeah, they'd be like, no, you give us the draft. Right.
But I'm glad I talked to you. Shout out to the chat. You're black as let somebody else talk to you.
All right, definitely, man. It's time again. All right, Tony.
I'm gonna read my article to you on the Noah Dag trade, because that's another one that I think we can
make sure you get that to me, man, because I haven't been doing much with the website for him, so I gotta get it up and moving. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get in there and get it up and moving, man.
You do your thing on YouTube, man.
Yeah.
But next man, I'll holler next game.
All right, man. All right, peace out, bro. Yeah. I mean, I definitely understand where he's coming from, talking about that Nicolas Batum and Joakim Noah, because I thought about that myself. I did. I thought about that myself, but the fact that he has that extra year, it scares me. You know what I'm saying? It scares me, the fact that he has that extra year, because, I don't know. You never know if you're actually going to be able to trade him when you get to that point of when you get into that that last year of his contract. You don't know if you're really going to be able to trade him, and then we'd be on the hook for $27 million, because he's opting into that. That's for sure. He's opting into that. So that's the only thing that worries me about that. But I get it. That's a good idea. You know what I'm saying? Swap him for somebody who's giving us some playing time. That can get on the floor and produce. You know what I mean? Roland, you say KP should not be an all-star this year. Maybe next year. His numbers are slowly going down anyway. I get what you're saying, but I think he's probably going to be an all-star. I think he'll be voted in as an all-star this year. I mean, who would you put in his place? Who you putting in his place down there? His play has dipped a little bit, but did we really think that he was going to be able to keep up that 30 points a game? Probably not. But I think he'll get that all-star bid this year. he's definitely one of them guys that's on the fringe. He's on the fringe, but I think he'll get it just because. Well, let's put it like this, right? He's on the fringe for sure, but he's such a popular player in the league. The NBA wants him in that All-Star game, I think. He'll be in there. He'll get in there. NBA wants him in there. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure NBA all day you say Porzingis got snubbed. I don't know. Joel Embiid been cooking this year, for sure. You know what I'm saying? He been cooking. So I'm not ready to say he got snubbed, but I think that he should make the All-Star team. Yeah. For real. So guys, we got a lot to look forward to in the next couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying? We got even this next week, we got a lot to look forward to when you talk about the shutdown, man. Anybody on the chat, man, that it has the possibility of not working next week, man. I hope the government gets it together. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I just hope they can do something, get it together, because we can't have people not working, man. It hurts us all around. We need people working. But so anybody that's in the chat that's has to deal with the government shutdown and not being able to work, man, I got you. I'm thinking about you. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about you. I don't care what side of the fence you're on. I'm thinking about you. Because our government, this is, I'm not, this is all I'm going to say. I ain't getting too much into this, but because that's not what the show is about. But it's my opinion, Congress, man, they, when the government shuts down, they still get paid. I think the government shuts down, Congress shouldn't get paid. Everybody else not getting paid, Congress shouldn't get paid either. And if there's anybody from Congress listening to the chat, I'm sorry, bro. You shouldn't get paid. You know what I'm saying? Don't mean to hate, but you shouldn't get paid. And I guarantee you they work something out then. They figure it out then. If they stop getting paid, they figure it out. You know what I mean? But anyway, let's get back to the New York Knicks. I just wanted to shout out anyone who maybe is not, is impacted by what's going on with Congress. You know what I mean? So, guys, we've been on for like 3 hours, man. But that's what's up. And this is something that I plan to do on the trade deadline day, which is February 8th. What I would like to do is hopefully I'm able to be on. If it's possible, I'll be on for a very long time that day. I'm gonna schedule, make sure all my schedule and stuff is taken care of so I can have some time that day. And if I'm able to have some time that day, I'll try to be on all day so we can just talk about what trades is happening. Because, the trade deadline goes until 3 p.m., something like that. I think that's the deadline. So we could talk about things that's happening and what's going on. So I'm planning to have kind of a marathon thing that day. But we'll see what happens. I'm going to talk to, if you guys didn't know, this guy, Joe, that's my son. You know what I'm saying? So he comes on there and he's giving me $5 in the super chat or whatever. He probably wants me to give it back to him. You know what I'm saying? But what I plan to do is, have one that's kind of long. And I got Michael. I got Michael calling in. 1 second, Michael. Let me finish saying what I'm saying. All right. But I'd like to have one on that trade deadline that's a few hours long, kind of long, and maybe I'll have this guy Joe come in and jump on for me a little bit so I can have a little bit of a break, something like that. I don't know. We'll see how we're gonna work it out. You know what I'm saying? But and the draft, I'm gonna do some coverage of the draft and figure out how we're gonna do that. Obviously, I won't be able to broadcast it, but I'll be able to talk about it and do those type of things. Trade deadline will do the same things. I'm lucky because as a freelance business consultant, I'm able to schedule my I'm able to schedule my day however I want it to be. You know what I'm saying? That's a benefit of working for yourself. You know what I mean? So if you're able to work for yourself, find a way to do it. And I'm still gonna put out that video about about how to become an owner of the Knicks. It's coming. I just had a lot of projects I had to work on, but it's coming. All right, so we got Michael back on the line. What's popping, bro?
Yeah, what's going on, man? I finally got a little downtime. Probably going to end in a few anyway. But yeah, I was just reading through the feed, and somebody brought up something interesting. I was like, what do you think about a trade for Nerlens Noel? His contract is small. There's nothing near what he thought he was going to get.
Yeah, I saw that, man. And you know what? Nerlens Noel is a player that I like.
I wouldn't mind him.
Me either. I like Nerlens Noel because he plays defense. He's a defensive guy.
That's his calling card.
Exactly. And I like Nerlens Noel.
What's that kid's name? The center on the Kings? Oh God, the one who KP torched earlier in the season.
Who is that?
Stein. Willie
Cauley-Stein.
I wouldn't mind him either. He's long. He could hit a 15-foot jumper if necessary, but he's a rim protector.
You look at Nerlens Noel, he's making $4 million this year. He's a free agent at the end of this year. You know what I'm saying? He's somebody that he's somebody that I think the Knicks will consider, especially now. If you're looking at this, if you're looking at right now, Kanter or Noah, one of their contracts kind of gets in the way of it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But he's the kind of guy that I think you do need to have behind KP. You know what I'm saying? Defensive
that
guy,
would be amazing.
Block shots. You know what I'm saying? That definitely would. That would be really nice. That's the perfect kind of guy.
I think it was Raven that called in earlier, and he said, and it's something that I think I said this in this video too one time. KP's always scrambling to protect the rim.
Right.
And if you look at how the Lakers played us tonight, they went at KP on offense. They know that once KP gets stronger, there will literally be no answer for him on offense.
Right.
You can't stop the guy. He's too tall and he's too skilled. Yeah. But on defense, when the Lakers were attacking us, they went right at KP, put him in foul trouble immediately. Because they know once he's off the court, going to the paint is open season.
Exactly.
They went at Kanter. Julius Randle ate Kanter alive.
He did.
He ate him alive. Beasley, he ate Beasley too. And that's the thing. This is why I feel like we need to put Frank in that starting lineup. For the simple fact that your starting point guard is not going to get into a comfortable rhythm against Frank.
Right. Exactly.
He's not. I remember when we played the Celtics, and I think I had messaged you on Facebook, actually, if you saw Frank guarding Kyrie. And we had a little back and forth on it where he locked him up.
Yeah, right.
Locked him up. Kyrie had 32 points that game. He had like 28 against Jarrett Jack. 4 on Frank, and the 4 he had on Frank, he had to make those shots.
Right.
Because Frank wasn't letting him take them.
Right.
Frank has to start to establish that defensive tone. We have no defensive intensity whatsoever in that starting lineup. None. Hardaway tries, but defense is not his forte. Courtney Lee tries, but he's also trying to preserve himself because we need him to hit shots.
Yep.
Kanter, he tries, but we know how that goes.
Right.
KP tries, but KP, like I said earlier, KP, he'd rather not defend the three-point line because if he gets burnt on the three-point line, he knows that's a bucket because we have no stoppers at the rim.
Right. And
Frank
KP,
if you look at Frank don't let you switch.
Right.
He barely lets you switch. Like if you're trying to switch, he move you out the way. Like, no, I'm here.
Right. And yeah, I agree with you. We need Frank out there. You know what I'm saying?
Back.
And you get Frank out there to start the tone.
Set that
defensive tone. Definitely.
And once you set a tone, the entire team is going to follow it.
Right.
The entire team is on. So if you come out lackluster and you're the starter, you're the person that the coach put Yeah, you're good. You're the person that the coach put out there to set the tone for the rest of the game, and you come out there like you don't care. The bench is going to come out there. Well, I'm not even starting, and he's not giving the effort. So why do I need to give my all if the coach is not holding the starters accountable?
Exactly.
You know, we need Frank out there to start with Timmy.
Right. I agree all day.
And if you look at another thing too, when Frank comes off the bench, he's expected to make shots because outside of Beasley, we don't have a guaranteed bucket on the bench.
Right.
In the starting lineup, we have about 4 guaranteed buckets. You know, Timmy could hit the shots, Courtney could hit the shots, KP could hit the shots, Kanter could hit the shots. So it's not to hide Frank, but at the same time, you won't need to rely on him for his offense if he's starting. All you need Frank for in the starting lineup is to run the sets, run the plays, hold the offense, hold down the offense, passing wise and playmaking wise, because the kid can pass.
Yep.
When he has good hands to pass to, that boy is lethal. When we played against the Spurs, and him and Beasley had a field day, it's just the Spurs are a superior team. When we played against the Nets, which a team that we're better than, and Frank played, Frank knew this is a field day for me. Like, he's going to eat that team. Right. His defense was nasty. His passing was amazing, and he would average more assists if we converted more shots that he passed. Because a lot of we missed runners in the lane.
That's for sure. That's for sure. And I think a lot of people miss that. You know what I'm saying? Frank, a lot of times, he sets people up for success.
So some beautiful passes.
You know what I'm saying? Some beautiful passes, sets people on for success, and they don't convert. You know what I'm saying? I definitely think that you would see his assist up if guys converted. The nights that he gets 7, 8, 9, 10 assists.
And if you look when he plays with KP and then when he plays with more starters, he don't turn the ball over as much.
Right.
Because it's like they know where they need to be. Because like earlier in the season where all the coaching staff and everybody was praising the kid, there's like before he even stepped on the court with them, he was having conversations. Where do you like your passes? Exactly. Where do you like your shots coming from? But, you know, the kid was learning his teammates. And
exactly.
If him, KP, and Hardaway, let's go with that 3. If that's our 3 going forward, we could throw Hernan Gomez in there if we intend to keep him. Right. But if that's our guys going forward, what better way to build those 3 guys going forward than to play those 3 guys going forward?
Right.
Together. On the bench, Beasley's your offense. McDermott is your Corver to run around and shoot the ball once he catches it. O'Quinn is an enforcer now, a big body. Right. Take a hard foul every now and then, block a shot, but he's not your answer. He's not your answer.
Right.
You know, and we need a starting wing, like somebody of a Batum caliber, but not that money.
Right.
Like if they want us to take Batum, we need Batum and 2 of their first round picks, and they could take Noah and Lance.
Right.
You know, like
something exactly.
Because that contract is horrible. Yeah. And they gave it to him when he was good, coming out of Portland, and they figured, oh, Batum is the man. And then he gets hurt, and then he turns into Chandler Parsons.
Right. Right.
You know,
that's the thing.
But he turned into Chandler Parsons. But if I would go after that Stanley Johnson kid from Detroit. He's not a scorer like that, but at the same time, he can put buckets in if necessary. You know, and I honestly agree with you when you say I think we're going to be active at the deadline.
I think so.
I won't be amazed if we unload Kanter.
I wouldn't be amazed. I wouldn't be surprised either if we unloaded Kanter.
I wouldn't be amazed if we unload him. But if we're unloading him, we need to unload him to a team like Detroit who don't have a legit backup center.
Right.
Because they would love him coming off the bench after what's his name, Drummond. They would love him because once Drummond's off the court, you can go to work on them because they don't have that big body.
Yeah.
Kanter's not going to protect the rim for you, but he hits you hard if you come back there.
Yep.
You know, and like I'm looking at our team right now, and we're not when Hornacek and them say we're not far off, they mean it in a competitive stance. I think we're not far off when it comes to building, because we have the blocks, we have the tools. Those tools just need to be broken in. It's like a new pair of boots. They're uncomfortable and heavy for the first few times you wear them. You know, once you break him in, he's going to become more comfortable. It's going to be easier to use. And if you look, and I will always keep going back to earlier in the season when we were losing games at home, and throw Frank out there with KP and Hardaway, Courtney Lee. Damn, he just turned that siren on. Like, bro, you're not even going. Jesus Christ. That just killed me, man. But yeah.
Man.
Yeah, that's the job I do, man. Medic. So
yeah.
I gotta.
Much love, bro. Much love, man. Keep saving lives out there, man. Keep saving lives. Definitely.
I try, man. Thanks a lot.
Saving lives, man. Well,
earlier in the season, Frank and KP is the ones that brought us back every time because KP would catch fire. KP he's always in rhythm when he's playing with Frank because Frank finds him in the spots, and Frank, you can see him on the court talking with his hands. Now, he's not a verbal kid. I realize that about him. He don't say much, like verbally. But he talks with his fingers and his hands, like he points you, I need you here, I need you here, I need you to come this way.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, KP is cutting across the lane wide open.
Right.
Like, he knows how to find his guys, and he just needs to be given the opportunity. And Jeff Hornacek needs to loosen that leash on the kid.
Yeah.
Tonight, the kid had 7 quick points, and it was like comfortable points too. It wasn't like Frank just took he don't take bad shots. I realized that with him too. He don't take.
He don't. He takes
if the
shots.
Shot ain't there, he's not going to take it.
Yep. And if Frank you see, he was attacking. He was attacking tonight, right? And when he gets that mindset and he does it, he's gonna be tough, man. When he gets that mindset, he's gonna be tough.
Once he understands what Antetokounmpo, damn, I hope I pronounced that okay. But once he understands what that guy understands, that I'm long as hell and no guard can reach me when I'm going up there.
Yep.
He'll have nothing to worry about because if you look at that little drive he had around Larry Nance tonight, he didn't get to the rim. But his arms did.
Right, exactly. But his arms, exactly.
He didn't get to the rim. He went up, but his arms were at the rim. He was at the free throw line. You know, he got these long tentacles. Once he learns how to use them, it's over.
Exactly.
Because if you're trying to block somebody, if you're trying to guard somebody, you're trying to get some type of body contact. If his body's not in there, but his arms are, you're going to have to hit his arms. It's a foul every single time.
Yeah.
And the kid, he has in Europe, they're not like here. In America, players learn to be tough and, they have a little flash to them. Everybody has this edge, something they play with. Right. In Europe, teach them nothing but fundamentals. They pull them out from like age 10 because of different like body dimensions and whatnot.
Exactly.
Like, you're perfect for this sport. It's like soccer. It's like youth clubs from the time they're 9 years old.
Yeah.
And they build them into certain types of players. Like everybody, they build them into certain roles,
Right.
Like Frank, everybody talking about Frank on his team in Europe, not realizing that this kid's defense helped the team get to the finals.
Yeah, and what people don't understand about that team, if people go and they look at that team in Europe,
they would destroy these college teams over here.
They would have destroyed them. And the leading scorer, Frank averaged like 5 or 6 points on that team. The leading scorer was 12 points a game.
Yeah, and they were killing people.
Right, but that was the leading scorer. They didn't understand how that translated. You know what I'm saying? The leading scorer was 12 points a game. Frank averaged 5.
Because over here in America, they believe in franchise players, whereas over there they believe in team.
Exactly.
KP averaged 6 points overseas.
Right, 6 points a game, and
6 points.
So it's a different mentality that the guys got to get used to.
And that's why people got to understand Frank is not going to have that dominant, I'm going to go out there and try to score 20 attitude.
Right.
He's going out there at team. When the team wins, we all win.
Exactly.
We all win. You know, I can go out there and get 40. Like, how many times last year Westbrook had 40 points, 10 rebounds, 16 assists, but the team lost by 5.
Yep.
You know?
Right.
So it's not like he understands that but KP is starting to. But now he's taking better shots again. But it came to a point in the season where he was trying to reclaim that 40.
Yeah.
He's taking bad shots.
Yeah.
You know.
But hey, Michael, thanks for the call in again, man.
Yeah.
Get some other people on here.
Yeah, do your thing.
All right, appreciate it. I mean, we've been on for 3 hours and 20 minutes, man. I'm probably going to get off in another 10, 15 minutes. Yeah, man, 3 hours and 20 minutes. Hit the marathon.
Yeah, with a marathon right now. Legs probably hurt.
But you know, when we get to when we get to that trade deadline, I think I'm gonna do another long one. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to be on for a good portion of the day as the trade deadline. I'm gonna schedule all my appointments around that day, and I'm gonna be free that day. You know what I'm saying?
If one day, what would be cool is if one day you have like a feature presentation where you have somebody like Marty come up and is in the studio with you.
Right.
That would be cool, man.
Well, one of the things I'm looking at, I just got to get it scheduled out right, and I may not be able to do this until the beginning of next season, but I want to do I'm gonna do a live event. You know, I've been telling you guys I'm gonna do some live events, so I'm gonna do a live event where I get a place. I mean, I'm in DC, so Marty, unless he took a trip down here, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah, I'm in Brooklyn right now.
Yeah, but what I'm gonna do is, you know, I'm gonna rent out a place. I'm gonna have food there, it'd be like a buffet, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then I'm gonna have everything set up there. Then I'm gonna have everything set up, and you know, we'll do a pregame live, and everybody will be there live in the room with us. We'll watch the game. Of course, I couldn't broadcast the game, but we'll watch the game. We'll keep going live, and we'll be doing interviews with fans and all that kind of stuff. That's
cool, man.
Then we'll do a halftime, and then we'll do a post game, and we'll have some music there. We'll have some food there, you know. So that's something I'm looking to set up and do. You know what I'm saying? Like a little meet and greet. Exactly.
I forgot to tell you, I'm from Trinidad, so I played the steel drums, the steel pan.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was thinking the same Nas song that you start off with.
Yeah.
I'm gonna record that, but the instrumental with my pan itself, and I'm gonna send it to you so you can include it in your videos if you want.
That'd be bet. I like that. You send it to me, and then I'll send it to George L so he can mix it in. That's what's up. We'll do that.
I got you. All right, man.
And then if we do that live thing, man, I would love it if you come out, you bring your steel drums.
I'll perform. It's not a problem.
You know what I'm saying? You bring them there, and because, you know, that's the whole thing. We want it to be, you know, we do a meet and greet where we have music, we have all that stuff. And
that would be dope.
It'd be pretty tough. You know what I mean? I mean, of course, it's gonna, you know, we gotta pay for everything, so it'll cost everybody a little something.
Or we could come up with some way to all go to a game or something at some point next season.
We're gonna do that too. I had to get basically I can get group tickets from the Knicks. Then everybody can pay for their ticket, and then we can.
That sounds like a plan,
like that. So, you know, I'm working on some of those things. So, yeah, some live events and some stuff like that. So definitely
that'll be
dope. All meet
bro.
up and chill and have a good time. It'll be fun.
That'll be fire, man.
Yeah.
All right, but let me let you go talk to some other people.
All right, man.
I'm gonna go act like I want to know what the supervisor wants from my life right now.
All right, man.
All right, bro.
All right, bro. Peace.
All right, man. Be good.
Yeah, definitely, guys. That's one thing that I have in the works, man. My plan is to do more live events. Well, not more. I haven't done one yet, but do some live events. If you look on the website, nothingbutnicks.com, you see a section over there that says live events. And I got to get on and do some more things on the website. But so the live events is going to be things like that. You know, we'll do some things where we meet up at the games. We'll do some things where we, just meet up. You know, I'll rent the place out. Everybody go there. We meet up. We eat, break bread, talk about the Knicks, and we had the live stream going the whole time, some things like that. So it should be fun. And, of course, it would cost a little something. It would probably cost like $25 a person or something like that, depending on, you know, how much I can get the place for and what the food costs and all those kind of things. You know what I mean? But, you know, hopefully everybody would be down for it. You know what I mean? And we can meet up and we would broadcast the game. I mean, we would broadcast pregame, and then while we're watching the game, we would broadcast all the fans' reactions, and all you guys would be able to get up here, talk on the mic, and do some things like that. It'll be cool. Oh, King Armani, appreciate that, brother. Appreciate you, definitely. You know what? Anybody that ever wants to be, you know, you know, give any kind of a assistance or, you know, do some things. You know, that's what, you know, part of the show is all about. You know, we're doing this. It's gonna open up opportunities for me, opportunities for you. You know, when we do them kind of meetups, man, it's networking time for people can network with each other. You know, and be able to do some things together and some things like that. You know what I'm saying? So King Armani, he gave me the super chat. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that. But you can always hit me. And I'm putting my email address in right now. Right? I can always be hit there. You know what I'm saying? So if you have things that you know, things of course about the Knicks, but it can be other things as well. You know what I'm saying? If it's just things that you want to, you know, you're a Knicks fan, and there's some things that I think would really be, our group would be interested in, you know, hit me up. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about, we can get you on the show, and, you know, that's what it's for. That's what this whole thing is for. You know what I'm saying? You know, so we could talk about the Knicks, but we can also network, and we can grow. Everybody has business ventures, things like that. We can grow it together. You know what I'm saying? Do some things together. That's, you know, that's what it's about. You know what I mean? That's definitely what it's about. You know, so guys, it's we've been on there for 3 hours and 26 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And I think I'm about to head off. I got some things I gotta do tomorrow, so I think I'm about to head off so I can start getting ready for tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? You notice I didn't really have as a topic of conversation Golden State versus the Knicks. I seen somebody said earlier the Knicks gonna beat Golden State. I hope so, but I didn't know how much we really had to talk about that game. You know, because with what I see from the Knicks, I'm not sure. I mean, our Achilles heel is shooting threes. We don't shoot enough, as well as defending threes. So we're playing a team that shoots threes, and we don't really shoot threes. I think it bodes a lot of trouble for us. You know what I'm saying? I think it could be a lot of trouble. You know, we'll see. You know, if we win this game, then maybe that's the thing that jumpstarts the second half of our season. Could be. You know, but it's far-fetched to say that we're going to win this game. Word up. You know what I'm saying? Far-fetched to say we're going to win this game. Of course, I'm going to be rooting for the Knicks, and I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up in a position to be able to win. Wouldn't be surprised. You know what I'm saying? Sean C., here's my email address right here. I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm not expecting the Knicks to win. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be on, of course, but I'm not expecting the Knicks to win. If they do, then that'd be, I mean, great. That's what's up. You know, but honestly, man, I don't know. I don't know if, you know, this is the game that we should be expecting to win. You know what I mean? I just don't see, you know, what they do well, we don't do well. They shoot threes well, we don't defend them well. You know, this could be a nasty one. So let's see. All right. But, guys, I'm going to head out. I'm going to head off for the night. I got some things I'm going to work on tonight for tomorrow. Then, of course, I'm going to work on some things tomorrow. And I'll be on Tuesday night. I think Thursday night I'll be broadcasting away from the studio on Thursday night. But that's cool. You know, I'll still be on. Be broadcasting away from the studio a little bit because, you know, I'll be got to meet with a client and I had to stay overnight. But I'll definitely be there. Thank you guys for sticking with me. 3.5 hours marathon. That's what's up. You know what I'm saying? We did it for 3.5 hours. I'm about to rock up out of here. You know what I'm saying? I want you guys to be safe, be easy. If you're not working because of the government shutdown, You know what I'm saying? I feel for you. You know, I hate that you're in that situation, and I hope that, you know, everything, you know, hopefully maybe by tonight, by tomorrow, they got things worked out. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, be easy with it. Take it easy. Find a way to release that stress. And this should, for everybody, always let people know, make sure your financial affairs is in order, because you never know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? But be easy, y'all. Peace. If you like this video, you like the live stream, we was on for 3.5 hours. We ran marathon tonight. But if you enjoyed it, subscribe. You click the bell when you subscribe, and it'll notify you anytime that I'm on live. It'll notify you anytime I put out a video. All right? Check out these videos over to this side. You know what I'm saying? Some more live discussions and videos about the Knicks. All right? Check out the website, nothingbutnicks.com, and enjoy yourself. Peace.